Imagine living a life that is not shaken by the chaos of the world, that resists change, and is strong enough to face the challenges that life will bring. It seems like an impossible dream, doesn't it? Would you believe me if I told you that the key to this kind of life has been there for thousands of years, waiting for you to find it? Welcome to this very special video, a complete guide to the world of Stoicism. We are often carried away by the waves of emotions, distractions, and desires in our modern lives full of noise and rush. Stoicism offers a way to find inner peace, self-control, and mental strength. He is firm as a rock. Learning to let go is the first step on this path. You will learn to differentiate the things you can control from the things you cannot, and let go of the things you cannot control. We can cleanse our inner and outer world through Stoicism and minimalism, creating space for more important things. Making space in our lives for what really matters is the first step. The next step is to strengthen our willpower. Developing self-discipline is the Stoic way to grow. This means creating values, controlling your impulses, and living a life based on solid principles that bring happiness. Now that we are focused, we face life's problems head-on. Here comes the mind that cannot be broken. Let's talk about 10 powerful lessons that will give you the mental strength you need to overcome life's big challenges. It's not about being optimistic, but about creating strong ways of thinking that keep you going when things go wrong. Finally, get ready to free your mind. You will learn 10 lessons from Stoicism that will change your life and help you free yourself from the limits you impose on yourself. You can control your emotions and actions and greatly improve the quality of your life. If you know how to use Stoic teachings, you can become immune to the chaos of the outside world. It brings a peace and happiness that nothing outside of you can take away. It is a journey to learn the art of living a life full of virtue, knowledge, and unbreakable strength. Now take a deep breath, prepare to learn, feel more confident, and find freedom as we explore the knowledge of modern Stoicism. Imagine waking up in a peaceful place where everything you own has a place and a purpose. Your heart is happy and your mind is clear. You know that the only things you can control are your thoughts and actions, so you can face the storms of life with a strong heart. It is not impossible to achieve these seemingly difficult goals. In fact, the path to a meaningful life lies at the heart of minimalism and Stoicism, two philosophies created hundreds of years apart. Welcome to Minimalism and Stoicism, giving up everything to live a meaningful life. In this video, we'll begin a journey that will help you find a life that you not only live, but also love. First, let's talk about the growing trend of modern minimalism. Minimalism is more than just a style, it's a way of life. It's about getting rid of the things that aren't important, the junk that weighs down our thoughts and places, and focusing on the things that truly improve our lives. Minimalism began as an artistic trend that emphasized realism and simplicity in the mid-20th century. Little by little, it spread to many areas of culture, such as music, construction, and lifestyle. People are turning to minimalism to reclaim their time, space, and focus. They are discovering that getting rid of physical clutter helps them build relationships, pursue their hobbies, and enjoy a level of depth that material things can't provide. Now let's go back in time, to the bustling streets of ancient Athens, where Stoicism first appeared around the 3rd century BC. Like minimalism, Stoicism is about simplifying things, but its main focus is on simplifying things from the inside. This philosophy teaches that the best way to live a happy life is to develop self-control, logic, and ethics. Stoicism helps people discover what they can control and what they cannot. He encourages people to focus on what they can control and let go of what they can't. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, 3 Stoic philosophers, taught us that what makes us happy is not what is happening around us, but our perceptions and responses to it. Letting go is what connects minimalism and Stoicism. Minimalism tells us to get rid of unnecessary things in our lives, and Stoicism teaches us to free ourselves from worries and mental constraints. Both philosophies are based on the idea that there is freedom in simplicity and separation, which means freedom to live a meaningful and happy life. In this film, We will learn a lot about the details of minimalism and Stoicism. We will talk about their origins, what they stand for, and how they can improve people's lives. We will also talk about how to apply these philosophies to our everyday lives and how to compare and contrast them. For example, case studies and stories will show us how these ideas changed real people's lives. Finally, we'll talk about what we learned and encourage you to start using parts of minimalism and Stoicism that work for you. As we begin this enlightening journey into the worlds of minimalism and Stoicism, prepare to change your ideas about what it means to live a fulfilling life. To have a meaningful life, you need to plan ahead, be good, and have enough courage to let go of what is not important. Let's walk this path together. Now let's start by talking about what minimalism is. The minimalist movement, as we know it today, did not begin alone. Like other art forms that emerged in the late 1950s and early 1960s, it began in music and visual arts. People believed that art didn't need to be complicated to be important, so these art forms used simple things. Over time, this idea grew into minimalism in our lives. In the early 2000s, people began to question the consumerist culture that dominated society. They wanted a less complicated, more meaningful life without all the extra stuff. This is where the modern minimalist movement began. It emerged as a reaction to the excesses of capitalism and the search for happiness beyond material wealth. Let's talk more about the principles of minimalism below. For starters, minimalism is about making things easier. It means getting rid of the extra, useless, boring stuff so you can focus on what really matters. This could mean getting rid of the trash in your home, making your schedule simpler, or even using social media less. The goal is to create a space in your mind and life that shows what you truly value. The second principle is to be aware. Making choices about what to keep and what to let go of is an important part of minimalism. It's not just about getting rid of things. Ask yourself, is this important to my life? Does this align with my goals and values? Being intentional means living with purpose, making decisions that show the kind of life you want to live. The third point is that quality is more important than quantity. In a consumerist culture, people often think that more is always better. Minimalism questions this idea. Less is not better just for the sake of being less. It's about having the right things instead of collecting lots of useless things. It's better to spend your money on good things and lasting relationships. Let's look at the advantages of living a simple lifestyle while keeping these principles in mind. For starters, minimalism can help you think more clearly. Getting rid of junk and other clutter can help us focus and be creative. Not having to deal with the clutter around us frees up our minds to think better and make smarter choices. Financial freedom is another big advantage. By planning what we buy and putting quality above quantity, we can spend less money wasted. This could mean saving more, having less debt, and being able to spend money on activities and hobbies that we really enjoy. The environmental impact of minimalism is also positive. When we use less, our impact on the environment is smaller. Making and throwing things away are two of the main problems harming the earth. When we choose to live with less and make decisions that are good for the world, we are not only improving our lives, we are also helping the planet. However, like any trend, minimalism has its criticisms and misunderstandings. Some people say that choosing to live on less is a privilege that not everyone can have. Others think that minimalism could become another form of consumerism if people keep buying new minimalist things to replace the old ones. Some people also think that minimalism means living with very little, or that it's a solution that works for everyone. It's important to remember that minimalism is not a fixed rule, but a tool. It's a way to create a life that fits your values and priorities and can be modified as your needs and tastes change. While it's good to hear these criticisms, it's important to remember that minimalism is not an end goal. Instead, it is a path to self-knowledge and purpose. It's not about following rigid rules, but a philosophy that can be adapted to different desires and ways of life. Minimalism does not demand perfection. He encourages us to make progress and be conscious of the choices we make. Likewise, minimalism should not just be seen as an advantage. The basic principles of living with purpose and focusing on quality over quantity can be inspiring for people from all walks of life. While some parts of minimalism may be easier for people with a better financial situation, the goal is to make the most of what you have and find happiness in simplicity, no matter how many things you own. To put an end to the false idea that minimalism means living a simple or poor life, it is important to remember that minimalism is not about having an exact number of things. The goal is to discover what is meaningful and get rid of what is not. For some, this might mean a home with just the things you need, while for others it might mean a carefully chosen collection of items that bring joy and have a purpose. Thank you very much. The philosophy of minimalism is deep and dynamic, and it's more than just getting rid of things. It's about creating a life full of meaning, purpose, and happiness by focusing on quality, simplifying, and making smart choices. Minimalism helps people have mental clarity, be financially free, and protect the environment. But like any philosophy, it has its critics and people who get it wrong. You should embrace minimalism with an open mind, knowing that it is a tool that can be used in many ways to create a meaningful life. As the film progresses, we will explore the ancient knowledge of Stoic philosophy and see how, like minimalism, it can help us rid ourselves of excess in our lives, both external and internal. Our discussion will focus on the similarities and differences between these two philosophies, as well as how they can be used together to make our lives more fulfilling. Stay tuned as we journey through time and thought, unraveling the threads of Stoicism and minimalism and weaving them into a fabric of happiness and purpose. This is a call for you to pursue a life lived with awareness, integrity, and meaning, not just to purge yourself or be stoic in the face of difficulties. May this journey make you think, question, and open up to the infinite possibilities that exist in the simplicity and wisdom of Stoicism and minimalism. As we leave the modern world of minimalism, let's go back in time to the ancient world where Stoicism began. Stoicism is a school of Greek philosophy that emerged in Athens at the beginning of the 3rd century BC. Stoic philosophy was founded by Zeno of Citium, who taught in the Stoa Poikile, a painted portico. Later in ancient Rome, Stoicism became very popular and was one of the most important philosophies during the Roman Empire. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius are the 3 most important figures in Stoic philosophy. In his letters and writings, Seneca, a Roman politician and writer, talks about how Stoic ideas can be used in everyday life. Epictetus, a famous Stoic teacher, was born a slave in what is now Turkey. His books Enchiridion and Discourses are important and offer useful tips on how to live well. Last but not least, Marcus Aurelius, who was Emperor of Rome, is sometimes called the Philosopher King. His Meditations, which he wrote while in the army, show what he really thought about right and wrong, duty and the meaning of life. The first Stoic principle we will explore is reason. For the Stoics, reason and logic were the most important things. They believed that using logic to understand the world would help us make good choices and live in peace. This logical way of thinking would lead to virtue, as it allowed people to make choices in accordance with nature and morality. The second idea is that we can control our responses. For Stoics, there is a clear difference between what we can and cannot control. We have complete control over our thoughts, perceptions, and actions, but not over what happens around us. We can stay calm in difficult situations by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. The third principle is to pursue virtue as the highest goal. Stoic virtue includes wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. In addition to moral goodness, the Stoics believed that the key to happiness was living a good life, aligned with reason and nature. How can this ancient philosophy help us today? Stoicism teaches us to distance ourselves from chaos and see things objectively when we face difficulties. This way, we can prevent our emotions from getting in the way of our decisions and act in accordance with our values. This teaches us to see problems not as bad things, but as opportunities to learn and grow. Now let's think about today's world. Although Stoicism is an ancient philosophy, its ideas are still useful. It helps us navigate a world that is always changing and becoming more uncertain. Cognitive behavioral therapy, a popular form of treatment for mental health problems, takes a similar approach of focusing on reason and controlling responses. Business leaders also use Stoic principles to make good decisions and strengthen their teams. Stoicism offers valuable tools for personal growth, helping people strengthen their minds and live honest, purposeful lives. Practices like journaling, mindfulness, and self-reflection, which encourage us to live in accordance with our values, are becoming part of everyday life. Stoicism is a philosophy that comes from ancient Greece and Rome. He teaches us how to lead happy and morally upright lives through his central principles of reason, control over our responses, and the pursuit of virtue. It can be used as a guide in an ever-changing world, from the lessons of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius to modern psychology and leadership. As we learn more about Stoicism, it's important to remember that it is more than just a set of logical ideas. It is a call to action. The message encourages us to develop a wise and good mind, to know what we can control and let go of what we cannot, and to see problems as opportunities for personal growth. This is a call to live wisely and thoughtfully. After exploring Stoic philosophy, we come to an interesting point where minimalism and Stoicism meet. Although they emerged in different times and contexts, both philosophies are based on the idea of detachment. Leave aside unnecessary things, whether they are material objects or thoughts, and find a life that is meaningful, happy, and aligned with our values. In the next parts, we will look at how these two philosophies work together and how they are different, as well as how we can apply them in our daily lives. Let's talk about how the knowledge and virtue of Stoicism can come together with the purpose and simplicity of minimalism. These philosophies can work together to create a solid foundation for a life that is not only clear and strong, but also deeply meaningful. With an open mind and a desire to learn, let's begin this journey of discovery. We must be ready to question our beliefs, abandon old habits, and accept new ways of doing things. The ideas of minimalism and Stoicism invite us to go on a journey to discover what is truly important and let go of what is not. This journey is not just about ideas, but also involves feelings. We are being called to think about the choices we make, the lives we live, and the values we support. It is an invitation to let go of what is extra and choose what is important, to stop the noise and choose knowledge, to let go of what is temporary and choose what is lasting. Let us follow the path of minimalism and Stoicism together towards a life that is not just lived but loved, not just supported but valued, and not just short but meaningful. At some point, Stoicism and minimalism meet as we journey toward discovery. Although they emerged at different times, these two philosophies have a lot in common and some clear differences. Now let's take a closer look at how they connect. First, both emphasize the importance of simplicity and focus. Minimalism teaches us to simplify our lives, getting rid of unnecessary things and organizing our spaces. Stoicism teaches us to maintain simplicity in our inner lives, being rational and focused on what we can control. Both philosophies tell us to let go of what isn't important, so we can focus on what really is. Second, both teach us to get rid of excess. In minimalism, this means removing things from our lives that do not improve our existence. In Stoicism, it is about letting go of excessive desires, emotions, and attachments that hinder our pursuit of virtue and cloud our judgment. Both philosophies agree that excess, whether of physical things or mental confusion, can prevent a happy life. Third, both emphasize inner happiness. Minimalism teaches us that happiness does not come from having more things, but from living a meaningful life. Stoicism teaches that happiness comes from living in harmony with nature and reason, not from seeking praise or money. Now let's see how they are different. First, modern minimalism emerged as a reaction to consumerism and excess things, especially in the Western world. Stoicism, on the other hand, comes from ancient Greece and Rome. and was an intellectual response to people's search for happiness and virtue in a chaotic world. Second, minimalism focuses primarily on the physical parts of our lives, telling us to organize our spaces and think about what we buy. Stoicism, on the other hand, focuses on our internal ideas, emotions, and character, in addition to our external situations. Third, the motivations of each philosophy are different. Many people who are minimalists want to make their lives freer and more organized by taking care of their surroundings. Stoicism has its roots in moral philosophy and is about caring for the soul and spirit, living in accordance with reason and nature. Thinking about the similarities and differences, we see that they are like two sides of the same coin. Both teach us how to live a simple, focused, and happy life, but in different ways. Minimalism helps us organize the world around us, while Stoicism helps us manage our thoughts and emotions. Together, these philosophies create something powerful. By combining the simplicity of minimalism with the wisdom of Stoicism, we can have a clear and focused life, as well as being meaningful and aligned with our values. We don't need to choose just one philosophy. We can use both as guides. Stoicism will keep us true to who we are and what we value, while minimalism will be the ship that carries us forward. Let's stop for a moment to think about this. Let's reflect on the places we live and the things we have around us. Are they useful or are they just extras? Now look inside yourself. Think about our words, feelings, and actions. Are they in line with our values or are they messed up? Let us carry with us the knowledge of Stoicism and the simplicity of minimalism as we move forward. Let's be like builders and plan a life that meets our deepest needs for meaning and happiness. Although these two philosophies come from different places and have different goals, they both help us live a simple life full of what's important. Minimalism tells us to tidy up the external world, and Stoicism teaches us to control the internal world. We find a path that leads us not only to simplicity or knowledge, but also to a very meaningful life when we combine these philosophies. By combining Stoicism and minimalism, we have the tools to shape our journey. This journey will be unique for each of us, but will focus on living a more meaningful and happy life. It is not always easy to make this journey. Sometimes we need to be brave and leave things behind. Each step we take on this road weaves threads of simplicity, knowledge, purpose, and happiness to form a fabric. Let's take with us the ideas of Stoicism and minimalism as we begin to apply them in practice. With open hearts and minds, let's learn more about these ancient philosophies, combine their ideas, and live by their lessons. Let's move forward, grateful for the knowledge that has been passed down over the years and for the chance to make it part of our lives. The actual application of these philosophies will be discussed in the next part. Let's talk about ways to incorporate Stoicism and minimalism into your daily life, creating a fabric that is not only simple and wise, but also very meaningful. Let's start by talking about how to put simple principles into practice in real life. First, actually tidy your room. Look at the things you own and ask yourself if they serve a purpose or make you happy. If that's not the case, maybe it's time to get rid of them. You can do this slowly. Start with one room or just one box and work your way up. Second, be aware of what you consume. Before purchasing something, think about whether the item is important and whether it matches your values. You can use this way of thinking in other areas of life, such as friendships and responsibilities. Last but not least, put quality above quantity. Spend your money on things and people that truly improve your life. This doesn't always mean spending money. It can also mean dedicating time and attention. With these ideas in mind, let's move forward on our journey of learning and application. Let's use Stoicism and minimalism to create happier, more meaningful lives, always looking for what really matters. Now let's talk about how to use Stoic philosophy to make choices and deal with situations. First, work through the idea of what you can control and what you can't. Understand that you can't control everything that happens, but you can choose how to react. When you're facing a problem, ask yourself what you can control and focus your attention on that. Secondly, think about your values and make choices based on them. Stoicism teaches us that being good is the most important thing. Try to act honestly, trustworthy and caring. Finally, regularly practice awareness and reflection. Take time to think about what you did, the choices you made, and how you felt. It helps you become stronger and more logical. How can we find a balance between Stoicism and minimalism for our own growth? All of this must work together. Use minimalism to organize your environment according to your values and goals, and use Stoicism to train your mind to be strong and focused. It's also important to know that Stoicism and minimalism are not either-or ways of thinking. They are flexible and can be adjusted to suit your needs and goals. Be firm, take small steps, and be ready to change the way you do things as you learn and grow. Here are some examples of real people who have combined the two philosophies to help you see what I mean. Watch the story of Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus, known as the Minimalists. Their business jobs had many things, but didn't give them any meaning, so they both quit. They made their lives simpler and more aligned with their values by focusing on what they could control and following the principles of Stoicism through minimalism. Another example is businessman and author Tim Ferriss, who has spoken openly about how Stoicism has changed his life and the way he makes decisions. He has also embraced minimalism, focusing on the most important things and people in his life that align with his values. Combining Stoicism and minimalism can be a great way to grow as a person and live a more meaningful life. By simplifying our external world through minimalism and strengthening our mind with Stoicism, we can create a life that is not only free from clutter, but also full of meaning and happiness. As we come to the end of this part, I want you to take a moment to think about what you like about both Stoicism and minimalism. Think about how you can apply these principles to your own life and how they can help you grow and be happy. Let's continue on this path together, taking advantage of the knowledge and benefits that Stoicism and minimalism have to offer. These philosophies can improve our lives, help us let go of excess, and give us a deep sense of meaning. Let's take a look at some of these ideas before we move on. While combining minimalism and Stoicism can be very beneficial, there are some challenges along the way, and we need to work hard, be committed, and sometimes step out of our comfort zones. It is also important to remember that combining these philosophies is not an end goal, but a path of continuous growth and change. The way we understand and use these philosophies will change and grow as we ourselves change and grow. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and we will never reach a perfect state of minimalism or Stoicism. They accompany us on our lifelong journey to become fully human. As we move forward, let us remember to be kind and patient with ourselves. Changes take time, especially those that influence how we live and think. Sometimes we may fall, and that's okay. The important thing is to get up, learn from your mistakes, and move forward with more energy and focus. We are not alone on this journey. Many people have walked similar paths, combining minimalism and Stoicism in search of a more meaningful life. We can learn from their experiences and be inspired by their stories. It's comforting to know that we are not alone in our search for meaning and happiness. Thanks. We will continue exploring, traveling through time and countries to learn more about the complex philosophies and religions of the East. With thousands of years of history and reflection, the East offers many lessons for those seeking a life of purpose. It is interesting to note how Stoicism and minimalism are related in many ways. Let's look at these beautiful similarities and understand how they can enrich our lives. Buddhism. The middle way in Buddhism is essential. He preaches a balance between extremes, something very similar to minimalism. According to the middle way, we can live healthily and promote our spiritual growth without falling into excesses or extremes of simplicity. The Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, also from Buddhism, teach how to live without attachments, something in line with Stoic principles. The Four Noble Truths explain human suffering and its causes, while the Noble Eightfold Path offers advice on how to overcome that suffering through right actions, right motivations, and right awareness. In Buddhism, present moment awareness and meditation are key to focusing on the now and what really matters. These practices are similar to Stoic consciousness, focusing on our inner self and leaving aside fleeting emotions, benefits of meditation. Taoism. Let's talk about Tao and Wu Wei. In Taoism, following the principles of simplicity, naturalness, and non-action is crucial, something close to minimalism. Wu Wei means to act effortlessly. It's not about standing still, but about acting according to the natural flow of things. It's about doing things without exaggeration and living a simple life. Yin and Yang are also important in Taoism, representing balance and unity in nature. This search for balance is similar to minimalism and Stoicism, which seek to balance life and emotions. Living in harmony with nature is another aspect. Following Taoism means living in tune with the Tao, the force that permeates everything. This idea resembles the Stoic concept of living in harmony with nature to achieve virtue and happiness. Hinduism. In Hinduism, Dharma and simplicity are essential. Dharma is moral responsibility, a path that values focus and simplicity. Following the Dharma means living a moral and purposeful life, something similar to the focus of minimalists. Detachment is also important in Hinduism, encouraging people not to become attached to material goods or fleeting emotions, something also present in Stoicism. In the Hindu tradition, yoga and meditation are more than physical exercises. They are forms of self-knowledge and alignment with internal ideals. This resembles Stoic reflection and alignment with what is good and reasonable. Let's talk about Confucianism, which has a great influence on Eastern thought. Like minimalism, the doctrine of the mean in Confucianism promotes balance and simplicity. Ren, which means kindness, and Li, which means rituals and correct behavior, are also very important in this philosophy. These ideas align with Stoic values, which talk about moral virtues and behavior in public. Confucianism also highlights the importance of relationships and coexistence with others. This shows how important it is for Stoics to actively participate in their communities and understand that they are part of something bigger. Both minimalism and Stoicism share a universal wisdom that deeply aligns with Eastern religions and philosophies. They meet in the practice of mindfulness, where each moment is experienced with total presence, and in balance, which seeks harmony in all aspects of life. Detachment, a central idea in these traditions, teaches us to release excessive attachment to material possessions and negative emotions, making space for true inner freedom. We can direct our focus to what really matters, leaving aside superfluous distractions by integrating advice from both Eastern and Western philosophies. This path guides us towards genuine happiness, where simplicity and mental clarity play fundamental roles. Eastern wisdom, with its emphasis on personal growth, harmonious interaction with others, and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of everything, offers valuable tools for our journey. Eastern thought highlights the importance of recognizing that each being and each action are interconnected in a complex web of existence. By understanding this interconnection, we realize that our well-being is closely linked to the well-being of others and the world around us. These lessons in interdependence and harmony can enrich our lives, helping us cultivate healthier relationships, act more compassionately, and find greater purpose. Following these teachings can guide us to a happier and more meaningful life. By adopting mindfulness and balance practices, we can reduce stress and find inner peace. Detachment allows us to live more authentically and less burdened. And by recognizing our interconnection, we can contribute to a more harmonious world, making our existence more rewarding and full of meaning. As we've seen, minimalism asks us to reduce our material possessions and place more emphasis on quality over quantity in our lives. Being logical, controlling our emotions, and seeing honor as the best thing is what Stoicism teaches us. Eastern philosophies, with their wide range of beliefs, can teach us a lot about how to live in balance with ourselves and nature. Throughout your daily life, think about how to combine these philosophies. For example, you could follow the awareness techniques of Buddhism, the easy action of Wu Wei from Taoism, the moral guidance of Hindu Dharma, or the social ideals of Confucianism. Couple this with the simplicity of minimalism, and the sense of meaning of Stoicism. Let us not think of these philosophies as different from each other, but rather as colors that combine well on a canvas that we can use to paint our lives. Getting ideas from both East and West can help people of all ages and countries understand and learn from each other. You can find many real-life examples to help you understand these concepts. Think about the people we know, the ones who live their lives without attracting much attention. They choose a simple but meaningful existence, balancing their responsibilities and desires with grace and serenity. These people find happiness and satisfaction not through the number of possessions or achievements, but through clarity about what really matters in their lives. These exemplary lives show that achieving inner unification is not a goal to be crossed off a list, but rather an ongoing and dynamic process. They remind us that true fulfillment comes from the daily practice of conscious choices. Lao Tzu, the wise Chinese philosopher, captured this essence when he said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." This first step can be as simple as starting to prioritize what brings us joy and peace, discarding what overwhelms and stresses us. This information and practices can be your starting point. By absorbing wisdom from both Eastern and Western traditions, we can find a harmonious balance that resonates with our unique lives. This may involve simplifying our spaces and routines, rationalizing our thoughts and behaviors, and seeking harmony in our relationships and actions. Finding this middle ground can guide us to a path of greater clarity and contentment. It is important to recognize that this journey may not always be easy. There will be challenges and moments of doubt, but each step taken with intention brings us closer to a more authentic and fulfilling life. By focusing on what is essential and valuable and embracing the lessons of diverse philosophies, we can create a personal path that leads to a fulfilled and balanced existence. You may have to compromise and make difficult decisions, but in the end it gives us something priceless, a life of meaning, happiness, and a strong connection to the world around us. Now that our journey through minimalism, Stoicism, and Eastern philosophies has come to an end, let's take a moment to think about the rich fabric of knowledge we've shown you. We start by learning about the history of minimalism and its main principles, which are keeping things simple, having a purpose, and putting quality over quantity. We talk about some of the problems and misunderstandings about a frugal lifestyle, and also discover the many benefits such as mental clarity, financial freedom, and protecting the environment. We go back in time and delve into the depths of Stoic philosophy, which flourished in ancient Greece and Rome. We learn that Stoicism teaches us the importance of being logical, of cultivating the ability to control our emotions, and of considering virtue as the greatest good. This philosophy shows us that by focusing on reason and morality, we can face life's challenges with serenity and courage. The ancient Stoics such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus left us a heritage rich in practical wisdom. Seneca, with his direct and reflective approach, advises us to live each day as if it were the last, valuing the present and accepting the inevitable. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, in his Meditations, invites us to find inner peace and resilience through introspection and self-control. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic masters, emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot, directing our efforts only towards what is within our reach. Through the writings of these philosophers, we see how Stoicism continues to be relevant today. Its lessons are applicable to many aspects of modern life, from managing stress to maintaining emotional balance in times of uncertainty. They teach us that regardless of external circumstances, we can find strength and stability within ourselves by cultivating a calm mind and a virtuous soul. Stoicism helps us deal with problems by promoting a perspective that values resilience and acceptance. He encourages us to face adversity with a firm attitude and to always seek personal growth and continuous improvement. By studying and applying these teachings, we can discover new ways of dealing with everyday challenges, finding balance and wisdom amidst life's turmoil. Thus, Stoic philosophy proves to be a faithful companion, guiding us on our journey towards a fuller and more virtuous existence. Our next stop on this journey took us to the point where minimalism and Stoicism meet. We've seen how these two philosophies are connected in their quest for simplification, focus, and inner tranquility. However, we also observe differences in their historical origins, scope, and main objectives. We talked about how these distinct philosophies can help us live more meaningful lives by eliminating excess in our lives. Additionally, we discuss how to incorporate minimalism and Stoicism into our daily lives. We explore how we can organize not only our physical spaces, but also our thoughts, following simple principles. We also look at how we can use Stoic philosophy to guide us in making decisions and dealing with events around us. We saw examples of real people who combined these two philosophies to improve their lives. Our journey didn't stop there. It expanded as we crossed the ocean toward the eastern shores. We explore some of the many Eastern beliefs and philosophies that share similarities with minimalism and Stoicism. We discovered several ideas that align with minimalism and Stoicism, such as the middle way in Buddhism, the Tao and Wu Wei in Taoism, the Dharma in Hinduism, and the doctrine of the mean in Confucianism. Don't end your learning here. See it as just the beginning. Consider how you can apply the lessons of Stoicism and minimalism to your daily life. Try different approaches to find what works for you, and don't hesitate to adjust them as needed. Each person has their own way of finding meaning and happiness in life. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. Keep learning, unlearning, and learning again. See your journey as a garden, where seeds of knowledge from different philosophies can be planted, and, with care and attention, grow into a full, rewarding life aligned with your values and ideals. It's crucial to understand that the things we own, the praise we receive, and the social standards by which we judge our progress are all fleeting. True happiness and satisfaction come from a life grounded in simplicity, virtue, and purpose. Let's carry forward the knowledge transmitted over the centuries. Let us be guides for each other, lighting the way with wisdom. Explore the world and continually learn, always seeking value in every step. May your life be like a well-written book, where the depth of the content is more important than its length. May the ideas of minimalism, Stoicism, and Eastern philosophies fill every page of your life with meaning, happiness, and satisfaction. As the great philosopher Seneca said, "While you live, learn to live." Let us continue to learn, grow, and move forward through life, with virtue as our compass and knowledge as our guide. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. May your path be clear, and your heart guide you to a life full of meaning and joy. Marco Aurelio was one of the few people in history who had a great impact on philosophy and leadership. As Emperor of Rome and a devotee of Stoicism, his life was a living example of discipline and courage. Today we will study his ideas more deeply, see how he taught and practiced the discipline throughout his life, and discover practical ways to apply his lessons to our own lives. Stoicism is a philosophy based on the ideas of an ancient philosophical school that originated in Greece and developed during the Roman Empire. Thanks to the teachings and writings of Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism became very well known. Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Zeno of Citium contributed significantly to the development of this philosophy. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-discipline, personal virtue, and resilience. It offers a guide for dealing with life's challenges, controlling emotions, and finding calm amidst the difficulties of the outside world. Stoics believe that we can control our thoughts, actions, and emotions, but not external events. This philosophy gives us a deep understanding of our humanity and how we are connected to the world around us. When we face situations beyond our control, we must focus on what we can influence, such as practicing understanding, self-control, and justice. The path of Stoicism leads to a life of moral integrity, transformation, and personal growth. In 165 AD, during the Antonine Plague, which devastated the Roman Empire, people who lived according to the principles of Stoicism demonstrated exceptional devotion. This plague, which was one of the most devastating in history, caused great suffering and fear throughout the empire. However, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, through his leadership and Stoic wisdom, brought hope and courage to his people. The Antonine Plague, believed to have been an epidemic of smallpox or measles, ravaged the Roman Empire in an unprecedented way. The disease spread rapidly, causing social and economic disorder and generating fear and uncertainty among people. As a leader, Marcus Aurelius recognized the need to offer guidance during this time of crisis and turned to the teachings of Stoicism. He sought within himself the wisdom and strength necessary to face challenges. Following the precepts of Stoicism, which preach accepting difficulties and maintaining virtue even in the face of adversity, Marco Aurelio found the necessary balance and courage. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Seneca taught that true happiness and power emanate from within ourselves, not from external circumstances. Faced with the threat of the plague, Marcus Aurelius strengthened himself internally and refused to be dominated by fear. Instead, he focused on his own integrity and the way he handled the situation, aspects over which he had control. Marcus Aurelius was an exemplary example of living according to the values of Stoicism. He demonstrated courage and resilience by remaining firm in the face of adversity and great challenges. Even though he constantly risked his own health, he worked tirelessly to meet the needs of his people, demonstrating compassion and kindness through his actions. He encouraged his people to be strong and find inner peace, even in difficult times. Despite the difficulties, Stoicism helped Marcus Aurelius find meaning and purpose in life. He recognized that the plague was an opportunity for his own personal growth and to strengthen his community. The crisis served as a reminder of the brevity of life and the importance of living virtuously. When Marcus Aurelius thought about life, he taught his people about the importance of enjoying every moment, valuing virtue more than money, and finding gratitude even in bad times. Marcus Aurelius' use of Stoic philosophy strengthened and comforted the Roman Empire. Even during the devastation of the Antonine Plague, his guidance and courage helped the kingdom recover and rebuild. The lessons of Stoicism that Marcus Aurelius left us are still relevant today, as they remind us of the human capacity to find inner peace, even in difficult situations. The worst moment in the history of the Roman Empire was during the Antonine Plague. Marcus Aurelius turned to the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy to tackle this serious problem. With courage, strength, and wisdom, he led his people through this crisis and helped them rise again. The Stoic mindset gives us hope by showing us that even in the worst situations, people can overcome challenges, maintain hope, and succeed. Stoic lessons remain useful over time, offering sage advice for dealing with life's challenges. They teach us the importance of resilience, self-discipline, and other qualities that help us face daily problems, overcome difficult times, and find meaning in an ever-changing world. Let's explore some important principles that can help us evaluate our lives and learn from the teachings of famous Stoic philosophers to apply Stoicism to our daily lives. We can embark on a transformative journey of self-knowledge, inner peace, and happiness by learning about Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, a famous and important philosopher, fully adopted Stoicism as his life guide. Originating in ancient Greece and popularized during the Roman Empire, this philosophy emphasizes the development of virtue and inner strength in the face of adversity. The search for self-control and discipline are central elements of this philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, the respected Roman emperor, personified the principles of Stoicism. He lived by these teachings, facing his life's challenges with courage and wisdom. Stoicism encourages people to discover their inner strength and become more resilient. It also emphasizes improving moral character through moderation and justice. Stoic principles highlight the importance of resilience in the face of difficulties. They provide valuable tools for people to control their minds, thoughts, emotions, and actions, always aligned with their values and goals. At its core, Stoicism offers a complete set of guidelines for self-development and the pursuit of a good, balanced life. Although we cannot control external events, We can control our emotions, thoughts, and actions. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on controlling our mind, we can achieve lasting inner strength. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous work, Meditations, stated, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Recognize this, and you will find strength." This quote summarizes the Stoic idea that we should focus our energy on controlling our thoughts and emotions, rather than allowing external events to determine our emotional state. During their reigns, great leaders often faced the toughest challenges. Marcus Aurelius, as Emperor of Rome, faced many of these challenges, testing his strength and determination. Aurelius faced many difficult situations that required his attention and intelligence. The Roman Empire was in danger because of problems such as revolts, wars, and economic instability. But he handled these challenges with determination and concern for his people. During his rule, Aurelius showed an ability to recover from losses. He knew that being a leader meant staying strong when things got tough. Even in the face of defeats or internal problems, he did not give up protecting the empire. His leadership style was marked by his ability to move forward even in difficult times. Furthermore, his spiritual beliefs, especially his practice of Stoicism, were very helpful in difficult times. Stoicism taught him to see problems as opportunities for growth and to maintain his sense of right and wrong even in adverse situations. He valued inner strength and accepting what he could not control. By incorporating Stoic principles into his leadership, Aurelius knew how to deal with failures in an exemplary way, inspiring those around him. Despite great challenges, he remained committed to the well-being of his people. His dedication to good government and justice drove his actions during his administration. By addressing the concerns of the people, he implemented changes to improve living conditions and promote the well-being of the empire. Marcus's personal life was an excellent example of discipline. He was humble and aware of the transience of power and material possessions, even as emperor. The practice of meditation and the constant desire to learn were important parts of his life. Furthermore, his moral integrity guided him in his choices and actions. Aurelius was a strong and intelligent leader, leaving a legacy of courage and kindness. His example continues to inspire future generations. The world is still learning from Stoic principles to develop self-discipline. We can apply some of these principles to our lives. Being consistent and self-critical are useful ways to practice discipline. Reflecting on our values and purpose every morning, as Marcus Aurelius did, helps us align our actions with those values. Furthermore, daily physical exercise not only improves our health, but also strengthens our mind, something Marcus understood well. Focusing fully on the present moment is a great way to develop self-discipline. When we are present, we can better control our emotions and make smart decisions. An important idea of Stoicism is to be grateful and remain calm, even in difficult times. Marcus Aurelius believed that finding beauty and wonder in life could make us stronger and more resilient. Practicing gratitude daily and keeping things in perspective can strengthen our character. Furthermore, the Stoics highly valued society and relationships. Marcus believed that working as a team and helping others develop self-discipline was important. Marcus Aurelius' principles need to be applied to better understand how Stoic philosophy can help in developing self-discipline today. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, dedicated many of his reflections to the importance of mastering our thoughts, especially during moments of meditation and reflection. He firmly believed that the quality of our lives was intrinsically linked to the way we chose to think, and that exercising control over our thoughts was fundamental to mental and emotional well-being. For Marcus Aurelius, true power lay in the ability to control our minds and direct our thoughts in a conscious and constructive way. He taught that our perceptions, emotions, and actions are profoundly influenced by the thought patterns we cultivate. Thus, he defended the idea that, by cultivating positive and constructive thoughts, it is possible to positively influence our experiences and the quality of our lives. The Roman emperor understood that negative thoughts not only caused mental suffering, but could also act as obstacles to achieving a full and meaningful life. Therefore, he strongly encouraged the practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. By cultivating awareness of their own thoughts and mental patterns, people could identify and confront false or harmful beliefs, replacing them with more realistic and healthy perspectives. To control our thoughts, we need to be disciplined and aware at all times. This means questioning the truth of our thoughts, changing our perspective on bad situations, and choosing more positive points of view to live better. We can combine our ideas with Stoic principles and have internal conversations based on reason and ethics. Writing in a diary was a useful practice that Marcus Aurelius used. Every day, he analyzed his thoughts and emotions, reflecting on their origin and impact. This practice helped him identify patterns in his way of thinking and change his ideas for the better. Marcus Aurelius believed that we could strengthen ourselves in the face of difficulties by controlling our thoughts. He understood that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can choose how to react. Whatever the situation, we can find inner peace and strength by focusing our thoughts on gratitude, acceptance, and virtue. Practicing control over our thoughts is still useful today. Being aware of our thinking habits, eliminating negative thoughts, and developing positive perceptions are necessary skills to improve our health, resilience, and ability to deal with life's challenges. Furthermore, Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of focusing on what we can change, our actions and attitudes. Stoics believe that worrying about things we can't change causes unnecessary stress and anger. Instead, we should focus our energy on what we can change, such as our own decisions, actions, and attitudes. We can be more flexible and maintain peace of mind by accepting that changes and uncertainties will happen. The Stoic principle shows that our greatest power lies in the people we can influence. Focusing on what we can change and acting in accordance with our values are things we should work to improve. Finally, Marcus felt it was important to make plans and goals that were in line with our values. To become self-disciplined, we need to have a clear calling, goal, and purpose in life. We make good decisions and act well when we know our values and make sure they are aligned with our goals. Setting goals based on our values helps us discover what's most important to us and guides us as we face life's challenges. Being in tune with our true selves helps us make choices and decisions that give us a sense of dignity and satisfaction in our purpose. We can focus our efforts and actions on self-discipline and personal growth by getting clear on our purpose and setting meaningful goals. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that self-control is essential to achieve self-discipline and consequently personal growth. He believed that to develop solid inner strength, it is crucial to exercise control over our desires, impulses, and emotions. This self-mastery not only helps us wait for what we really want, but also resist temptations that divert us from our values and long-term goals. Self-control, in Marcus Aurelius's view, is not a practice of deprivation, but a strategy for achieving deeper and more lasting happiness. He teaches us that, by making conscious choices in line with our principles, we avoid momentary pleasures that can compromise our future well-being. Thus, self-control becomes an act of self-compassion, where we choose what is truly beneficial to our personal growth and happiness. By exercising self-control, we strengthen our willpower, becoming more dedicated to our path of self-discipline. This constant practice of personal control empowers us to make wiser decisions and follow a path that reflects our true values and goals. Ultimately, self-control allows us to live more fully and authentically, aligning our actions with what truly matters to us. Therefore, by practicing self-control, we are not just avoiding mistakes or excesses, but rather building a life that reflects our best selves. We are preparing to face challenges with serenity and positioning ourselves to grow and prosper in all areas of our lives. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true joy comes from a life lived with intention and purpose, guided by a disciplined mind and a steady heart. Marcus highlighted that developing resilience is an important part of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us not to fear life's problems and failures, but to see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Resilience, in this case, means being able to face problems and difficulties without losing inner strength and stability. Marcus says, accepting that life changes and is unpredictable helps people be resilient. Stoics understand that although we cannot control what happens outside of us, we can control how we react internally. When we accept that things change and that the world is uncertain, we develop an inner strength that allows us to face the storms calmly and firmly. In Stoicism, being resilient also means seeing losses and mistakes as chances to grow. Stoics view challenges as opportunities to practice courage, determination, and patience, rather than as obstacles. We build the strength to deal with life's ups and downs by accepting difficulties as part of our journey. When we focus on what we can control, we feel better. We become more resilient when we don't let external events affect our feelings. We can maintain inner peace and calm even when bad things happen because we are resilient. In Stoic philosophy, building resilience means accepting life's failures, seeing setbacks as opportunities for growth, and focusing on what we can control. Before finishing this video, let's look at 3 important lessons from Marcus Aurelius's most famous book, Meditations, that can help us have more self-discipline and understand the importance of living a good and fulfilling life. The first lesson is about the power of the present moment. Marcus Aurelius said in Meditations, "Do not trouble yourself by imagining your life as a whole. Do not carry in your mind the many and varied problems of the past and future, but ask yourself of every present difficulty, what is there in it that is unbearable and beyond endurance?" This quote shows the importance of being in the present moment. Many times, we are unable to be self-disciplined because we are stuck with regrets from the past or worries about the future. Aurelius teaches us to focus on the present. By doing this, we can break tasks that seem difficult into smaller parts and practice control and discipline in our immediate actions. This focus on the present moment is the basis of self-discipline, allowing us to take meaningful, virtuous actions without feeling overwhelmed. Second lesson, don't depend on the approval of others. Marco Aurelio knew that fame and the opinion of others are fleeting. He wrote, "I have often wondered how it is possible that every man loves himself more than all other men, and yet places less value on the opinion he has of himself than on the opinion of others." This shows that people often seek approval from others, even if it means ignoring their own values and integrity. Aurelio suggests that self-discipline must be separated from this search for external approval. Instead, we should focus on developing inner virtues and following our own moral compass. This internal focus helps us make decisions and actions in line with our values, without being influenced by the changing opinions of others. This builds a solid foundation of self-discipline based on self-respect and personal integrity. Third lesson, adaptability and acceptance. One of the most famous quotes from Meditations is, "The hindrance to action promotes action. What is in the way becomes the way." This quote represents adaptability and acceptance, 2 important qualities for self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that obstacles and challenges must not only be endured, but can be transformed into opportunities for growth and learning. Self-discipline involves the ability to adapt our actions and attitudes in response to the challenges we face. Instead of resisting or lamenting difficulties, we can embrace them as chances to exercise virtue, learn, and grow. This mindset not only helps develop self-discipline, but also promotes resilience and a deep sense of satisfaction. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations are a true treasure of wisdom that guides us on the path of developing self-discipline. He teaches us that focusing on the present moment is essential. When we focus our mind on the now, we let go of anxieties about the future and regrets from the past, allowing us to act more consciously and effectively. This state of mindfulness is the first step towards solid self-discipline, as it helps us deal with tasks and challenges as they arise without letting us become distracted or overwhelmed. Furthermore, Marco Aurelio encourages us to let go of external validation. In a world where we often seek approval and recognition from others, he reminds us that true satisfaction comes from within. By focusing on our own actions and intentions, Rather than worrying about the opinions of others, we develop a form of self-discipline that is self-reliant and resilient. This detachment strengthens us, allowing us to remain true to our values and principles, regardless of external circumstances. Adaptability and acceptance are other fundamental pillars taught by Marco Aurelio. He encourages us to accept reality as it is, instead of fighting against it. This acceptance does not mean resignation, but rather a deep understanding that some things are beyond our control. By embracing this truth, we become more adaptable and resilient, able to face challenges with a positive attitude and a clear mind. This perspective allows us to maintain self-discipline even in difficult situations, as we do not waste energy fighting the inevitable. This form of self-discipline, grounded in wisdom and virtue, is not just about control but about living a life of purpose and meaning. Marco Aurelio shows us that true self-discipline involves a harmonious integration of self-mastery, acceptance, and resilience. By adopting these Stoic principles, we have the potential to cultivate a self-discipline that enables us to live fully and fulfilled lives regardless of external circumstances. Self-control, as Marcus Aurelius believed, begins with controlling our thoughts and emotions. By observing and guiding our inner world, we can choose how to respond to external events and maintain calm and clarity. Accepting things is also essential for developing self-discipline. Marco Aurelio said that resilience comes from seeing problems as opportunities for growth. By seeing obstacles as steps on our journey, we can develop the strength and persistence necessary to face difficulties with determination. Resilience also means maintaining inner peace and stability even when things around us are chaotic or bad. To develop self-discipline, we can use practical strategies inspired by Marcus Aurelius in our lives. Establishing consistent routines, exercising, being mindful of the present moment, expressing gratitude and promoting community support help our growth and development. By following Marco Aurelio's principles, we can have a more disciplined and rewarding life, developing the strength to face life's challenges with self-control. When we look at history and philosophy, Marco Aurelio stands out, leaving a legacy that has stood the test of time. In an often chaotic and ever-changing world, self-discipline becomes a light that can guide us through the storm. For Aurelio, self-discipline is not just a quality, but an art, the art of living. Self-discipline is the compass we use to navigate the seas of life. It is the anchor that keeps us steady in the storms and the sails that propel us forward. Through self-discipline, we achieve control over ourselves, which helps us better understand and engage with the world around us. Thank you very much. The life and philosophy of Marcus Aurelius show how self-discipline can transform our lives. In today's world, where we are constantly distracted and receive too much information, we need self-discipline more than ever. With self-discipline, we can filter out the noise and focus on what's really important. Self-discipline helps us to be true to our values and principles, acting calmly and wisely, not on impulse. It's amazing how Marcus Aurelius, an emperor nearly 2,000 years ago, faced many of the same challenges we face today. This shows a profound truth. The human experience at its core does not change. Our fears, dreams, problems, and desires are the same over time. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom remains important because it touches on these basic aspects of human life. We live in an era of great opportunities, but also of great challenges. The Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius gives us the mental strength to face these challenges, using them to grow and become better. As we finish this video, let's think about our potential. Each of us can be a philosopher, someone who seeks truth and shares wisdom. May Marcus Aurelius's words remind us of the strong spirit within each of us. May your Stoic determination inspire us to build our self-discipline as we pursue our journeys. Self-discipline is not an end, but a means to living with purpose, integrity, and satisfaction. Let us remember that in the great play of life, we are both the writers and the actors. With self-discipline, we can write stories of triumph, joy, and resilience. May our chapters be full of wisdom. May each page have purpose, and may the ink on our pens be that of self-discipline. With Marco Aurelio as our faithful guide, we will move forward with our eyes on the future and our hearts full of hope and possibilities. Thank you very much. It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. Epictetus. Imagine a world where outside things don't control your happiness, where you have complete control over your emotions and can find peace in the midst of chaos. Welcome to the world of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has helped many people grow and fulfill themselves. At the center of this philosophy is the wisdom of Epictetus, a former slave who became a philosopher and changed his life with Stoic thought. Today, we will explore the teachings of this incredible man and discover the top 10 lessons from his famous work, The Manual. Epictetus was born in Phrygia, which is now Turkey, around 50 AD. Even though he was born a slave, he overcame his difficulties and became one of the most important Stoic philosophers of all time. As a slave, he was owned by a high-ranking Roman official who saw his intellectual potential and allowed him to study philosophy. Epictetus eventually became a student of the philosopher Musonius Rufus, an important Stoic professor in Rome. After gaining his freedom, Epictetus began teaching philosophy in Rome, where his fame grew rapidly. However, when the Roman Emperor Domitian expelled all philosophers from Rome in 89 AD, Epictetus had to flee. He found a new home in Nicopolis, Greece, where he founded a school of philosophy that attracted students from across the Roman Empire. His teachings were noted down by one of his students, Ariano, who gathered them into two main books, the Discourses and the Manual. The Handbook is a short collection of Epictetus's most important teachings. It serves as a practical guide to living a virtuous life, offering valuable advice on how to face life's challenges and uncertainties. Stoic philosophy is based on the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. By developing our inner strength, wisdom, and resilience, we can remain calm and composed even in the face of difficulties. This is achieved by focusing on our actions and thoughts rather than being carried away by external circumstances or the opinions of others. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 lessons from the playbook, uncovering the wisdom and practical advice that has stood the test of time. By understanding and applying these teachings, you too can experience the transformative power of Stoicism and discover its potential for personal growth and self-improvement. As we embark on this journey through the Handbook, remember that Epictetus' words are not just ideas or theories, but practical tools that can be applied to your daily life. By adopting these lessons and incorporating them into your routine, you can build a solid foundation for personal development and create a more fulfilling, purposeful life. First lesson: differentiate between what is under our control and what is not. One of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy, as taught by Epictetus in the Handbook, is that we should focus our energy on what we can control and accept what we cannot. This simple yet powerful concept can greatly improve our well-being and life satisfaction. Epictetus believed that our thoughts, beliefs, and actions are under our control, while external events, the actions of others, and the natural world are not. By recognizing this difference, we can avoid unnecessary stress, anxiety, and disappointment. Let's see an example to understand this lesson. Imagine you are preparing for an important job interview. You spent weeks researching the company, practicing your answers, and improving your skills. On the day of the interview, however, a huge traffic jam means you arrive late and miss the opportunity. While it's natural to feel frustrated and sad in this situation, Epictetus would advise us to focus on what we can control. We can't change the traffic or the fact that we missed the interview, but we can control our reaction. Instead of dwelling on the missed opportunity, we can learn from the experience, adjust our approach, and continue looking for work with renewed determination. Second lesson: accept destiny and life's events. Another important lesson from the Manual is learning to accept fate and the natural course of events. According to Stoic philosophy, the universe follows a rational order, and everything that happens is part of that plan. By accepting destiny, we can have an attitude of calm and learn to value all experiences in life, whether good or bad. Accepting destiny does not mean giving up or being passive. It means focusing on what we can control and having the wisdom to accept and adapt to what we cannot change. By doing this, we can find peace and purpose even in the most difficult situations. Think about this example. You've been planning your vacation for months and are excited to relax. But a few days before you leave, you get sick and can't go. While it's normal to feel sad and frustrated, Epictetus would remind us that our health is beyond our control. By accepting the situation, we can avoid being dominated by negative feelings. This could mean focusing on recovery, using free time to work on personal projects, or spending more time with family. By changing our perspective and finding something positive in the situation, we can turn a bad event into a chance to grow and learn. Accepting destiny and the natural order of the universe helps us remain calm in the face of life's uncertainties. When we live with an open heart and a willingness to adapt, we can find meaning and joy in every experience, no matter the outcome. This mindset of acceptance and adaptability can ultimately lead to a fuller, happier life. By applying this lesson, we can feel more inner peace and be stronger in the face of challenges. When we accept that the world is unpredictable and focus on what we can change, we become more capable of growing and adapting. This way, we can face the ups and downs of life with grace and calm, making the best of each situation and maintaining our balance even in difficulties. Third lesson, the search for a virtuous life. One of the most important principles of Stoic philosophy, as explained by Epictetus in the Handbook, is the pursuit of virtue as the main goal in life. Virtue here means being morally good and developing good character. According to Epictetus, living virtuously is very valuable and leads to true happiness and fulfillment. Stoics believe there are four main virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By practicing these virtues every day, we can become better people and help our communities. Let's see an example of how to apply this lesson. Imagine that you find a wallet on the street with a lot of money and the owner's identification. It may be tempting to keep the money, but pursuing a virtuous life means trying to return the wallet to its owner. In doing so, you practice the virtue of justice, treating others fairly, and the virtue of wisdom, understanding the importance of honesty and integrity. By choosing virtuous actions, even in difficult situations, we develop our character and strengthen our moral compass. These choices can also bring a feeling of deep satisfaction and respect for yourself. By prioritizing virtue above material possessions or the approval of others, we can build a solid foundation for lasting happiness and personal growth. The pursuit of a virtuous life is an important lesson from the Handbook and an essential part of Stoic philosophy. By striving to be morally good and following the values of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we can enrich our lives and help the world around us. By adopting these principles, we can begin to feel the true happiness and fulfillment that Epictetus believed were possible through a life of virtue. Fourth lesson, detachment from material things and external situations. In the manual, Epictetus highlights how important it is not to depend on material things and what happens around us to be happy. According to Stoic philosophy, our joy and well-being should not be tied to things we cannot control, as they change and do not last forever. Instead, we should cultivate our inner strength and be happy with our own actions and thoughts. By practicing detachment, we can free ourselves from the need for approval from others and the fear of losing what we have, which can make us suffer and make us anxious. This doesn't mean we should give up on our things or relationships. On the contrary, we must understand that they are not the only source of our happiness. To understand it better, imagine that you worked hard to build a successful career and accumulated a lot of things. Even if you feel proud and happy about what you have achieved, Epictetus would say not to get too attached to these external things. Instead, He would suggest focusing on your inner values and virtues, which are what really matter to be happy in the long term. To apply this lesson to your life, you could be grateful for what you have and remember that material things don't last forever. You could also practice generosity, such as donating to those in need or volunteering your time to help others, which can help you maintain a balanced perspective on the importance of material things. Detachment from material things and external situations is an important lesson from the Handbook and an essential aspect of Stoic philosophy. By living this way, we can find more inner peace and become more resilient, which ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Fifth lesson: practice self-discipline and self-control. The fifth lesson of the manual highlights how important self-discipline and control of our actions are, something essential in life according to Stoic philosophy. For Epictetus, controlling our impulses and desires was crucial to maintaining inner peace and growing as a person. Self-discipline and self-control means resisting things that bring immediate satisfaction for long-term benefits, and also controlling how we react to things that happen around us. It gives us a sense of personal freedom, freeing us from being slaves to our desires and allowing us to live in accordance with what we value. For example, think about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes it's tempting to eat unhealthy foods or avoid exercise in favor of more relaxing activities. But by practicing self-discipline, you can resist these momentary temptations and prioritize your long-term health and well-being. This involves creating an exercise routine, eating healthily, and making sure you get enough sleep. Although it requires effort and constant practice, the benefits are enormous. By developing self-discipline and control, you make better choices, achieve your goals more efficiently, and live a more balanced and happy life. When we control our impulses and reactions, we experience a sense of freedom and satisfaction, living in harmony with our values and principles. Sixth lesson: overcoming fear and worry using rational thinking. In the sixth lesson of the manual, it is highlighted how important it is to think logically to overcome fear and worry. For Epictetus, many of our negative emotions come from meaningless thoughts and assumptions. By examining these thoughts and replacing them with logical ideas, we can reduce unnecessary suffering and have a more balanced mindset. An important way to do this is to question our thoughts, especially when they make us distressed. By identifying meaningless thoughts that make us fearful or worried, we can confront them and replace them with more realistic ideas. For example, imagine that you are nervous about speaking in public and feel a lot of anxiety. Perhaps your fear comes from thinking that if you make a mistake or stumble over your words, you will be laughed at and judged. To use logical thinking, you can remember that everyone makes mistakes and that the audience probably won't be as critical as you think. Furthermore, it is important to understand that your value as a person does not just depend on a single situation. By exchanging meaningless ideas for more balanced thoughts, you can reduce anxiety and face the situation with more confidence. A powerful way to deal with fear and worry is to bring our attention back to the present moment. Often, our fears arise due to a tendency to get stuck in negative scenarios that may never come to fruition. By committing to the reality of the here and now, we can reduce the influence of these destructive thoughts and maintain a calmer, more centered mind. The sixth teaching of the manual highlights the importance of logical thinking in overcoming fear. By closely examining our thoughts and questioning their validity, we can dispel the power they have over us. This allows us to discern between legitimate concerns and mere irrational fantasies. By separating what is real from what is imaginary, we strengthen our resilience and ability to face challenges with more confidence and mental clarity. Additionally, focusing on present-moment tasks is an effective way to calm the mind and reduce anxiety. When we dedicate ourselves fully to the activity we are doing, whether big or small, we find a sense of purpose and control that helps dispel anxious thoughts about the future. This mindfulness practice helps us maintain a balanced perspective and empowers us to deal with difficulties more effectively. Therefore, by committing to the present, challenging negative thoughts and focusing on everyday tasks, we can develop a more stable and resilient mindset. This approach empowers us to face fear and worry with more clarity and determination, allowing us to live a fuller, more rewarding life. Seventh lesson: act with kindness and understanding towards others. In the seventh lesson of the manual, it highlights how important it is to treat others with kindness and empathy. Epictetus taught that recognizing our shared humanity and showing compassion for others is crucial to living well. According to Stoic philosophy, we are all connected and must help each other on our path to wisdom and personal growth. One way to practice this is to listen carefully and truly care about the thoughts and feelings of others. This helps us better understand their perspectives and experiences, creating empathy and strengthening our bonds. For example, if a friend is going through a difficult time and shares this with you, rather than giving unsolicited advice or trying to solve their problems, you can show empathy by acknowledging their feelings and the challenges they face. By showing that you care and understand their situation, you offer the support they need to face difficulties. Another important aspect is to think about how our actions and words affect others around us. We can strive to be thoughtful, respectful, and supportive, even when we don't agree or understand another's perspective. This helps create a friendlier and more empathetic environment for everyone. The seventh lesson in the handbook highlights the importance of being kind and empathetic to others. By actively listening, acknowledging others' experiences, and considering their feelings, we can build deeper bonds and contribute to a more compassionate world. This reflects the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, and moderation, promoting our own personal growth and well-being. Eighth lesson: learn from criticism and not be shaken by the opinions of others. In the eighth lesson of the manual, the importance of learning from criticism is highlighted, while maintaining a healthy balance regarding the opinions of others. Epictetus taught that it is crucial to evaluate feedback objectively, distinguishing between useful insights and unconstructive comments. This way, we can grow and improve ourselves without letting ourselves be emotionally affected by other people's judgments. To put this valuable lesson into practice, it is essential to adopt a receptive mindset when receiving feedback. This means being open to hearing opinions and constructive criticism, recognizing that they can offer valuable insights for our personal and professional growth. Instead of seeing feedback as a threat or personal criticism, see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. When someone shares a review, it is important to evaluate the source and the context in which it is presented. Reflect on the intention behind the feedback and whether there are areas you can improve on. For example, if a colleague offers suggestions about a project you're working on, take a moment to consider the observations impartially. Evaluate whether the suggestions are relevant and whether they can contribute to improving the work. If the feedback provided is relevant and useful, receive it with gratitude and recognition. Use it as an opportunity to grow and develop your skills. Instead of feeling threatened or devalued, see feedback as a tool to boost your personal and professional progress. Maintaining a healthy distance from other people's opinions is essential to preserving your integrity and authenticity. By focusing on your own standards of excellence and constantly seeking to improve, you can become more resilient and successful in your endeavors. True success comes from the ability to learn from feedback and grow from it, while staying true to your personal values and goals. Sixth lesson: overcoming fear and anxiety with rational thinking. The sixth lesson in the manual highlights the importance of using rational thinking to deal with fear and anxiety. Epictetus said that we often feel bad because of irrational thoughts. When we examine these thoughts and replace them with more sensible ones, we can feel better and more balanced. One way to do this is to question our thoughts, especially when they make us feel bad. If we find ourselves thinking irrational things that make us fearful or anxious, we can try to think more realistically. For example, imagine you are nervous about speaking in public. Maybe you're worried about making a mistake and being judged by people. But it's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes, and people are often not as critical as we think. Furthermore, a mistake does not define who we are. By exchanging these negative thoughts for more balanced ones, we can feel less anxious and more confident. Another strategy is to focus on the present moment and not think about bad things that could happen in the future. Often our fears come from thinking about bad things that might not even happen. If we focus on the task we are doing now, we can avoid these bad thoughts and keep our mind calmer. Seventh lesson: be kind and understand others. The seventh lesson in the handbook highlights the importance of being kind and understanding others' feelings. Epictetus said that it is very important to recognize that we are all equal and to show compassion for each other in order to live well. According to Stoic philosophy, we are all connected and should help each other in our search for wisdom and personal growth. One way to do this is to listen carefully and show genuine interest in the thoughts and feelings of others. This helps us better understand how they feel and create stronger bonds. For example, if a friend is going through a difficult time and shares it with you, instead of trying to solve their problems or give advice without being asked, you can show that you understand how they feel and acknowledge the challenges they are facing. This way, you offer the support and encouragement he needs to overcome his problems. Another part of being kind and understanding others is thinking about how our actions and words can affect those around us. We can try to act with care, respect, and support, even when we don't agree with someone or understand what they're going through. This attitude can help create a calmer, friendlier environment for everyone. The seventh lesson in the manual shows how important it is to be kind and understand others. By listening carefully, recognizing others' feelings, and caring about them, we can create stronger bonds and make the world a better place. Thus, we follow the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, and temperance, which help us grow and feel better. Eighth lesson: learn from advice and don't let other people's opinions shake us. The eighth lesson in the handbook talks about how important it is to listen to what others have to say, but also maintain a healthy distance from their opinions. Epictetus felt it was critical to understand the feedback we receive, separating what is useful from what is not. This way we can improve without being emotionally affected by the judgments of others. To follow this lesson, it is important to have an open mind when listening to advice. Criticism can be opportunities to grow and improve. When someone criticizes us, we should think about where that criticism comes from and whether we can learn something from it. For example, if a colleague gives us advice about a job we are doing, we should consider whether he is right and whether we can improve by doing so. If so, we would appreciate it and use the suggestion to improve. If we don't agree with the criticism, we shouldn't let it shake us. It is important to remember that the opinions of others do not define who we are. Understanding our own values and knowing ourselves deeply is like building a strong inner foundation that sustains us even in the face of external storms. When we are rooted in our convictions and aware of our intrinsic value, we are less susceptible to the negative influence of other people's opinions. This does not mean that we should close ourselves off from advice or constructive criticism, but rather that we can discern what is useful for our growth and what is just external noise. The eighth lesson of the manual invites us to this journey of self-confidence and self-discovery, where we learn to filter the advice and opinions we receive, absorbing only what genuinely contributes to our personal development. It's as if we are refining our own inner gold, separating the valuable nuggets from the impurities. This process enables us to grow and evolve without being shaken by external negativity. By remaining firm in our values and beliefs, we can walk with more security and determination towards our goals. We do not allow external voices to dictate our path, but rather our choices are guided by the inner voice of our own wisdom. Thus we grow not only in external achievements, but also in self-esteem and self-knowledge, becoming better versions of ourselves every day. Ninth lesson: build inner strength when facing problems. The ninth lesson of the manual shows how important it is to be strong in the face of difficult times. Epictetus thought that life has many obstacles, and it is essential to be flexible and persistent at these times in order to grow and feel good. One way to do this is to think that when something goes wrong, it's a chance to learn and improve. Seeing problems as opportunities to learn new things helps us maintain a positive mindset, even when things are difficult. For example, if we lose our job, instead of feeling sad or feeling like we failed, we can see it as an opportunity to look for new work, learn new things, or do things we enjoy that we didn't have time for before. Thinking like this, we transform problems into good things. Another important part is knowing how to deal with our emotions when things are not going well. Epictetus said that it is important to separate what happens from what we think about what happens. When we understand that our emotions come from our thoughts, we can better control our reactions and remain calm even when things are difficult. The 9th lesson of the manual shows that it is important to be strong when we face difficulties. By thinking that problems are opportunities and controlling our emotions, we can overcome difficulties and continue growing. This is an important part of Stoic philosophy and helps us live well. Lesson 10. Think about our own thoughts and actions to become better. The 10th lesson of the manual tells us how important it is to look inside ourselves to grow and improve. Epictetus thought that by always analyzing what we think, do and why we do it, we can understand more about ourselves and try to act in accordance with our values and what we think is right. A good way to do this is to set aside time every day to think about what we did and what we could have done better. This may include thinking about the day that has passed, where we may not have acted the way we would like, and how we can improve in the future. By doing this every day, we can be more attentive to what we do and always try to be better. For example, before bed, we might think about how we acted toward others during the day, how we reacted to things that happened, and whether we acted in accordance with things like honesty, kindness, or sincerity. If we notice that we act differently than we would like, we can use this to try to act better in the future. Noticing the negative thoughts that haunt us is like turning on a light in a dark room. By recognizing these limiting thought patterns, we take the first step toward transforming our mindset and our lives as a whole. It's like opening the curtains to let the sun in, dispelling the shadows of doubt and fear. The 10th lesson of the manual reminds us of the importance of examining our own actions and thoughts with a critical but also compassionate eye. By asking ourselves what drives us and what holds us back, we open the doors to a continuous process of self-knowledge and personal growth. It's like sailing through a sea of possibilities, exploring the deepest corners of our psyche in search of hidden treasures. By committing to this process of self-analysis and self-transformation, we are putting ourselves in the driver's seat of our own journey. We are no longer mere passengers, but the architects of our destiny. It's as if we are planting the seeds of self-improvement, watering them with each reflection and action aligned with our deepest values. Thus, by integrating Stoic teachings into our daily lives, we take a step towards a more authentic and meaningful existence. We are not just spectators of life, but active participants in creating our own destiny. And in doing so, we find not only happiness, but also a lasting sense of purpose and fulfillment. As we come to the conclusion of this enlightening journey, through Epictetus's 10 key lessons, we are reminded of the enduring wisdom and practical insights that the Enchiridion offers us. We begin by understanding the importance of differentiating what is within our control and what is not, learning to cultivate inner peace in a world often full of uncertainty. We then delve into the importance of embracing destiny and accepting life's events with grace, fostering a sense of resilience and serenity in the face of adversity. We also discover the profound truth that living a virtuous life, characterized by kindness, wisdom, and self-discipline, is within our reach. We learn to detach ourselves from material possessions and external circumstances, finding fulfillment and contentment within ourselves. The lessons we learn about self-discipline and self-control, along with the importance of treating others with kindness and empathy, serve as guiding beacons amid the darkness of life's uncertainties. They are like compasses that point us in the direction of balance and serenity, even when the waters around us are choppy. By embracing these Stoic teachings, we open the doors to an inner world of peace and harmony, where our mind is like a well-tended garden, flourishing with virtues such as courage, compassion, and wisdom. We learn that true power lies not in external conquest, but rather in internal mastery over our own thoughts and emotions. We challenge patterns of fear and anxiety, replacing them with the light of rational thought and the search for true understanding. We discover that we are not prisoners of our fears, but rather architects of our own destiny, shaping our lives with the mortar of reason and will. In the turmoil of modern society, where external validation often dictates our self-worth, we learn to rise above the opinions of others, holding firm to our principles and values. We are like solid rocks, weathering the storms of criticism with the fortitude of our self-esteem and grounded in the fertile land of mutual understanding. Thus, by incorporating these precepts into our everyday lives, we not only find inner peace, but we also become beacons of light, radiating kindness and compassion to those around us. We are agents of change, promoting a more compassionate and resilient world where the strength of character overcomes life's adversities. The ninth lesson highlighted how important it is to be resilient when facing difficult challenges. She reminded us of the importance of seeing problems as learning opportunities and controlling our emotions. Furthermore, it encouraged us to think about our actions and values, always seeking to become better. As we move forward, it's important to take these lessons with us and apply them to our everyday lives. Remember that Stoicism is not just an idea to think about, but a way of living. Following these teachings can change the way we see things, our relationships, and how we feel in general. Epictetus, who went from being a slave to one of the most important philosophers, left us a great legacy. His teachings in the Handbook are still relevant today, giving us practical advice for dealing with the challenges of life in an ever-changing world. Epictetus's philosophy continues to be a solid guide, offering advice that never goes out of style for living a life of peace, virtue, and fulfillment. As we finish, let us remember what Epictetus said. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. May it guide us to a life of wisdom, resilience, and kindness. Let us follow these teachings, embrace the Stoic lifestyle, and enter a world of peace, understanding, and constant growth. Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, is known as the Philosopher King. Even though he was one of the most powerful people in the world at his time, he faced many challenges, from political problems to personal losses. During these difficult times, he wrote his Meditations, a profound book about self-knowledge and reflection. This work, full of personal thoughts and observations, has inspired many people over the centuries, giving advice on how to live well and be happy. These days, in a fast-paced and uncertain world, being resilient and having inner strength are more important qualities than ever. We are always dealing with changes, whether at work, in relationships, or in our personal lives. What if we learn to deal with these changes calmly and wisely, transforming difficult moments into opportunities to grow and get to know ourselves better? That's where the book Meditations by Marco Aurelio comes in. As a Stoic, Marcus Aurelius believed it was important to develop inner qualities and control our emotions. He thought that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, feelings, and actions, we can overcome external problems and maintain our calm and balance. Basically, Stoicism teaches us to be the builders of our own happiness, no matter the problems we face. What can we learn from this great philosopher? In this video, we will explore the book Meditations and discover 10 timeless lessons that will help us become stronger and more resilient. These lessons will not only give us practical advice for dealing with difficulties, but they will also motivate us to have a stronger mindset in our daily lives. By applying Marco Aurelio's teachings, we will be better prepared to face challenges, learn from experiences, and live a fuller and happier life. As we explore these 10 lessons, we will understand how to control our thoughts, accept what we cannot change, live in the present moment, be humble and empathetic, and much more. Each of these lessons is based on the principles that Marcus Aurelius defended and practiced, showing how to face problems with strength, wisdom, and calm. If you are going through difficult times in your personal or professional life, or if you just want to learn how to live in a more balanced and happy way, Marco Aurelio's teachings can be a great source of inspiration and wisdom. First lesson, control how you see things. Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." It reminds us to pay attention to our thoughts and way of seeing things. When we understand that our interpretations are not always absolute truths, but rather ways of seeing the world, we can begin to control how we react emotionally and think, which makes us stronger inside. Controlling our thoughts and perceptions starts with paying attention to ourselves. It's important to realize when we're having negative thoughts or thoughts that don't help us. When we realize this, we can work to change our perspectives to more positive and rational ones. A practical way to do this is to practice mindfulness every day. This means focusing on the present moment without judging, which helps us observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. By practicing this, we can become more aware of ourselves and know when we need to change our perspectives. Another technique is to challenge our thoughts. This means identifying negative or irrational thoughts and actively questioning them, replacing them with more balanced and rational ones. For example, if we think, "I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion," we can change that to, "Not getting that promotion now doesn't mean I'm a failure. I can learn from this and keep growing." Surrounding yourself with positive people is like receiving a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. The energy and perspective these people bring can illuminate our own path, making it clearer and more inspiring. Imagine yourself walking alongside friends, mentors, or role models who radiate the values you most admire. Their conversations are like sources of wisdom, and their activities together are like positivity pills that strengthen our minds. By being close to these positive influences, our own mindset becomes stronger. We become more optimistic, more resilient in the face of challenges. After all, it's hard to be in the dark when you're surrounded by light. These interactions not only make us feel good, they also shape our worldview, teaching us to find the good in things, even in the most difficult times. Additionally, by practicing mindfulness, challenging our thoughts, and staying close to positive influences, we are training our mind to see the world in a more balanced and constructive way. We are polishing the lens through which we perceive reality, making it clearer and more precise. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, our perceptions are not always absolute truths. We have the power to shape them, to adjust our focus to see what really matters. Therefore, by consciously choosing the influences that surround us, practicing mindfulness, and challenging our thoughts, we are equipping ourselves with the tools we need to face life's challenges with more confidence and calm. We are building a mindset that is not easily shaken, a mindset that finds strength in adversity and hope in darkness. Second lesson, accept what you cannot change. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people to whom fate binds you, but do it with all your heart." This teaches us about the importance of accepting the things we cannot control. It is an important part of being strong inside. When we learn to accept that not everything is in our control, we can focus on the things that really matter, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It helps us make peace with the present, even when things are difficult. By letting go of our desire to control everything, we feel lighter and less worried, which helps us to deal better with difficult situations. To start thinking like this, it's good to recognize the things that we cannot change in our lives. You can make a list of things you can't control and try to accept them as they are. This helps you understand what you can change and what you can't, which makes you stop trying to change what you can't change. Another thing that can help is learning to let go of things. Letting go means understanding that everything in life changes all the time. This helps us see things in a more balanced way and teaches us to accept that life has ups and downs. When you're facing something difficult, remember that this too shall pass and try to approach the situation openly and calmly. Meditation can also help us accept the things we cannot change. When we take time to calm our minds every day and observe our thoughts and emotions, we learn more about how we respond to difficulties. This helps us realize when we are struggling to accept what we cannot change and helps us think more positively. The art of acceptance is like learning to surf the waves of life. When we allow ourselves to flow with the rhythm of existence, rather than fighting the current, we discover a sense of calm and inner harmony. It's as if we're saying to the universe, "I'm here, ready for whatever you bring me." By practicing acceptance, letting go, and meditation, we are tuning our hearts and minds to receive what life has in store for us, whether good or bad. This is not passive resignation, but rather a conscious choice to let go of illusory control over what we cannot change. It's like flying a kite into the wind, watching it dance freely in the skies, untethered. This practice allows us to see life in a more balanced and open way. We begin to realize that problems are just passing clouds in the vast sky of existence, and that behind them, the sun of hope and possibility always shines. It's as if we've acquired a new pair of glasses, allowing us to see the beauty and wonder around us, even in the most challenging situations. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept the things to which fate connects you, and love the people to which fate brings you, but do it with all your heart." These words resonate as a gentle reminder that true acceptance is not just about tolerating, but embracing with love and gratitude all that life offers us. It's about finding peace and wholeness in the present moment, wherever we are and whoever we are with. Third lesson, live in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't dwell on the past, don't dream about the future, focus your mind on the present moment." He wanted to remind us of the importance of being present in the here and now, without worrying about what has already passed or what is to come. By focusing our mind on the present, we can enjoy life more and feel more inner peace and happiness. Living in the present moment has many benefits, such as reducing stress and anxiety, and making us feel more aware of ourselves and the world around us. When we practice mindfulness and focus on the present, we are able to fully engage in our experiences and emotions without becoming distracted by things that have already happened or worries about the future. This helps us understand ourselves better and grow as people. One way to start living in the present is to practice mindfulness meditation. This means observing your thoughts and feelings without judging them and focusing only on the present moment. To do this, simply find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and pay attention to your breathing. When other thoughts arise, just acknowledge them and gently bring your attention back to your breathing. Practicing this for just 5 minutes a day can make a huge difference to your mental health. Another way to stay in the present moment is to do mindful activities in your daily life. This can include simple things like eating slowly and paying attention to the flavors of your food, or walking and observing your surroundings. By practicing these activities mindfully, you become more aware of the present moment and your own thoughts and emotions. Additionally, it's good to set aside time every day to think about your experiences and feelings. Writing in a journal can help you process what happened during the day and become more aware of the present moment. Reflecting on your thoughts and behaviors can give you valuable insights that will help you live more consciously in the present and make better choices in the future. Fourth lesson, practice humility and empathy. Marcus Aurelius said, "Whenever you're about to find a fault in someone, ask yourself the following question: which fault of mine most resembles the one I'm about to criticize?" Cultivating humility and empathy is very important to be stronger from within and face challenges. It helps us build better relationships, be kinder to others, and better understand who we are. Marcus Aurelius's quote reminds us to think about our own mistakes before criticizing others, and encourages us to understand how other people feel. Being humble means accepting that we all make mistakes and that we can always learn something new, no matter who the person is. When we are humble, we are more open to listening to what others have to say and improving as people, which helps us overcome problems and deal with new situations more effectively. To practice humility, try to listen more and talk less. Listen to what other people have to say and be willing to admit when you are wrong. This can help you grow and be a stronger person. Empathy, on the other hand, is about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to understand how they feel. This can help you face challenges and build better relationships. Developing empathy is like opening a window into the hearts of others. It's about putting yourself in their shoes, trying to understand their joys, pains, and challenges. as if they were your own. A simple way to do this is to practice active listening. When you're talking to someone, focus on really listening to what they're saying without interrupting or judging. Ask questions that show your genuine interest in their emotions and experiences, showing that you care about what they are sharing. Plus, extending a helping hand can make a big difference. When we help others, especially those who are going through difficult times, we are cultivating our capacity for empathy. By being there for those in need, we gain a deeper understanding of their struggles and pain, which makes us better able to offer genuine, compassionate support. Practicing humility is also essential, recognizing that we don't know everything and that we can learn a lot from others' experiences keeps us open and receptive to their perspective. It helps us grow as human beings by expanding our understanding of the world and people around us. In short, cultivating empathy not only makes us better listeners and friends, it also strengthens our own emotional resilience. By truly connecting with others, we find an inner strength that helps us face life's challenges with greater courage and compassion. Fifth lesson: be grateful. Marco Aurelio tells us to think about how wonderful it is to be alive every morning, to breathe, think, enjoy, and love. He shows us how important gratitude is in our lives. By focusing on the good things we have and appreciating what life offers us, we can feel happier and stronger, even when we face problems. Being grateful has many benefits. Studies have shown that people who are grateful regularly feel happier, have healthier minds, better relationships, and even better physical health. They also tend to be more positive, less stressed and anxious, and deal better with problems. To be grateful every day, you can start writing in a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for, big or small. This can shift the focus from problems to the good things in life, helping you recognize and appreciate what normally goes unnoticed. Another way to practice gratitude is to thank the people around you. Take time to say thank you to your friends, family, and colleagues for their support and kindness. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also increases your own gratitude. Also, think about your achievements and the challenges you overcame. Recognizing your personal growth and the lessons you've learned can make you feel grateful for the journey you've had. Mindfulness can also help you be grateful. By paying attention to the present moment, you can appreciate the little things in life that normally go unnoticed. By doing this, you can feel grateful for the simple things in life. Being grateful is a powerful way to improve your life. By keeping a gratitude journal, thanking others, reflecting on your achievements, and practicing mindfulness, you can develop a strong sense of gratitude for the good things you have. Sixth lesson: see challenges as opportunities to grow. Marco Aurelio teaches us that obstacles should not stop us, but make us move forward. He shows us that we can learn and become better even when things are difficult. If we change the way we see problems, we can become stronger and deal better with complicated situations. Challenges help us grow in many ways. They give us the chance to learn new things, gain experience, and better understand our own abilities. When we overcome difficulties, we feel more confident because we know that we can face problems and emerge victorious. To see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, start by thinking that it is always possible to improve. Ask yourself what you can learn from difficulties and how it can make you a better person. Another way to see problems as opportunities to grow is to change negative thoughts. When something difficult happens, try to find something positive in it. For example, if you think, "This is too hard, I'll never do it," try thinking, "This is a challenge, but I can learn from it and become stronger." You can also be inspired by stories of people who overcame difficulties. Read about people who faced problems and came out stronger. This shows that we can grow even when things are difficult. When we face challenges, it is essential to remember that we are not alone. Friends, family, or trusted adults are there to support us when we need it. Sometimes simply talking about what we're going through can ease the weight we carry and help us see things from a different perspective. They can offer valuable advice, share similar experiences, and remind us that it's okay to ask for help when we need it. Additionally, as we share our challenges with others, we often discover that we are not alone in our struggles. We all face difficulties at some point in our lives, and it is through these difficulties that we grow and become stronger. Therefore, instead of seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, we can choose to see them as opportunities for learning and personal growth. Accepting challenges as opportunities for growth is an important step towards building our inner strength. When we change our perspective and embrace challenges with courage and determination, we discover that we are much more resilient than we thought. Each challenge overcome makes us stronger and more prepared to deal with life's ups and downs. So the next time you face a challenge, remember that you are not alone and that there is always an opportunity to grow and become an even better version of yourself. Lesson number 7. Use reason as a guide. How you think affects your happiness. Marcus Aurelius highlights how thinking with logic and reason can help us to be happier and overcome problems. When we use reason to guide our thoughts and actions, we can make better decisions, deal with our emotions, and face challenges with more clarity and strength. Reason helps us overcome problems because it allows us to see things objectively, find solutions, and think about the consequences of our choices. When we face challenges with logical thinking, it's easier not to let emotions like fear or anger get in the way of our decisions. One way to use reason more is to practice critical thinking. This means questioning ideas, analyzing information, and considering different points of view. When faced with a problem, take a moment and think about whether you are making assumptions, whether you have enough information to support your ideas, and whether there are other ways to resolve the situation. Another way to be more rational is to reflect on yourself regularly. By thinking about your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, you can better understand your motivations and biases. This helps you recognize when emotions or misconceptions are influencing your thinking, allowing you to direct it in a more logical direction. It is also important to control emotions, as strong feelings can get in the way of rational thinking. Practicing meditation or breathing techniques can help manage your emotions, creating space to think more clearly. Lastly, look for opportunities to learn and solve problems. Do activities that challenge your mind, such as solving puzzles or playing strategy games. This will improve your ability to think logically and deal with life's challenges more effectively. Using reason as a guide is fundamental to overcoming problems and being more resilient. By practicing critical thinking, reflecting on yourself, controlling your emotions, and solving problems, you can develop a more logical mind and better deal with life's challenges. Lesson number 8. Promote inner tranquility. Our soul reflects the color of our thoughts. Marcus Aurelius highlights how our thoughts affect our emotions and inner peace. Cultivating inner tranquility is important to be stronger emotionally and face challenges more calmly. Inner peace is crucial for several reasons. First, it helps us deal with stress and anxiety. When we are at peace with ourselves, we can face life's pressures in a more balanced way, avoiding mental health problems and maintaining our well-being. Furthermore, inner tranquility helps us think more clearly and make better decisions. When our emotions are not in turmoil, we can solve problems more effectively and find more creative solutions. One way to cultivate inner peace is to do things that make us happy and relaxed. This could be being outdoors, doing activities we enjoy, or spending time with those we love. Taking care of yourself and doing things that nourish us emotionally helps maintain balance and tranquility. When we are faced with stress and negative emotions, it is essential to have healthy strategies to deal with these situations. One of these strategies is practicing breathing exercises, which can be simple and effective in calming the mind and body. Breathing deeply and consciously can help reduce anxiety and tension, bringing a sense of calm and mental clarity. Furthermore, physical activities such as yoga are excellent for promoting emotional balance. Yoga combines gentle movements with breathing techniques, providing not only a physical workout, but also a moment of connection with yourself. Regular yoga practice can help release built-up tension in the body, relax the mind, and promote an overall sense of well-being. Another powerful way to cultivate inner tranquility is by practicing gratitude. Recognizing and appreciating the good things in life, even in the most challenging circumstances, can transform our perspective and help us find peace even in the midst of chaos. Keeping a gratitude journal, where we regularly record the things we are grateful for, can be a simple but profoundly transformative practice. By focusing on the positive and expressing gratitude, we can make room for more love, compassion, and serenity in our lives. Ninth lesson: practice letting go. Focus on what's really important, no matter what others do or think. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to detach ourselves from external things by focusing on our inner values and spiritual growth. Rather than seeking validation or satisfaction from external things, we can become stronger from within. The benefits of letting go are many. This allows us to remain calm and emotionally stable even when we face difficulties. It also helps us not to become too attached to other people's results, possessions, or opinions, which can cause stress, anxiety, and disappointment. To practice detachment in everyday life, start by paying more attention to your thoughts and reactions to external things. Notice how you react to different situations and practice observing your emotions and thoughts without getting attached to them. This can help you realize when you are giving too much importance to external things and shift your focus inward. Another tip for practicing detachment is to remember that everything in life is temporary. Understand that possessions, relationships, and situations are always changing, and that seeking lasting happiness from these things is ultimately impossible. Instead, seek contentment and inner satisfaction by focusing on your own personal growth, your values, and your spirituality. Knowing yourself and your core values well can also help cultivate detachment. When you know what's really important to you, it becomes easier to let go of outside influences that don't align with your values. Take time to reflect on your core beliefs and use them to guide your choices and actions. Practicing regular spiritual or reflective activities can be a true balm for the soul. For example, meditation offers a peaceful space for you to connect with yourself, letting go of the worries of the outside world and finding peace in the present moment. Finding a few minutes every day to meditate can help calm the mind, reduce stress, and promote an overall sense of well-being. Another useful practice is writing in a journal. This simple act of putting your thoughts and feelings on paper can be deeply therapeutic. It can help you process emotions, identify thought patterns, and gain a greater understanding of yourself. Additionally, keeping a regular record of your experiences and reflections can be a valuable source of self-knowledge over time. Prayer can also be a powerful way to connect with something bigger than yourself. Regardless of your religious beliefs, taking time to pray can provide comfort, hope, and a sense of connection with the divine. It can be an opportunity to express gratitude, seek guidance, or simply find comfort in difficult times. By practicing these spiritual or reflective activities, you are cultivating a sense of detachment from external influences. This does not mean disconnecting from the world, but rather finding an internal space of peace and balance that helps you face life's challenges with serenity and determination. By focusing on your spiritual growth and strengthening your inner values, you are building a solid foundation to face life's ups and downs with calm and confidence. 10th lesson: keep moving forward. Focus on the good things you already have and think about what it would be like if you didn't have them. In this last lesson, Marco Aurelio highlights the importance of persisting and moving forward when facing difficulties. By appreciating the blessings we have and maintaining a growth mindset, we can continue to make progress even in the face of challenges. Persistence is crucial to overcoming difficulties because it allows us to overcome obstacles, learn from setbacks, and move towards our goals. By maintaining positive momentum, we can develop resilience and inner strength, as well as gain the skills and experience needed to face future challenges. To maintain motivation and a growth mindset, start by setting clear, achievable goals that align with your values and interests. Having a clear vision of what we want to achieve helps us stay focused and motivated, even in the face of difficulties. Break your goals into smaller steps and celebrate your progress to stay motivated along the way. Another way to stay motivated is to practice self-compassion. Recognize that facing setbacks is normal in life and treat yourself with kindness and understanding when you encounter difficulties. Cultivating self-compassion helps you maintain a positive attitude, encouraging you to move forward even in the face of adversity. Additionally, being surrounded by people who support you and share your values can help maintain motivation and a growth mindset. Seek out friendships, mentors, or support groups that are aligned with your goals, drawing inspiration and encouragement from shared experiences and successes. Finally, set aside time regularly to reflect on your progress and achievements. Recognize the obstacles overcome, skills gained, and growth experienced along the way. This reflection helps maintain forward momentum, inspiring you to continue overcoming challenges and pursuing your goals. Maintaining persistence and continuing to move forward is very important to overcome difficult times and develop inner strength. When we set clear goals, practice being kind to ourselves, seek support, and think about our progress, we can stay motivated and keep moving forward no matter what. We learn valuable life lessons from Marcus Aurelius's meditations that help us to be stronger and more resilient. These lessons taught us about controlling how we see things, accepting what we cannot change, focusing on the present, being humble and empathetic, being grateful, seeing adversity as opportunities for growth, acting with reason, and finding inner peace. By embarking on the journey of incorporating detachment and the teachings of Stoicism into our everyday lives, we are actually opening doors to significant personal growth. Imagine yourself as a gardener, cultivating the flowers of your own soul, watering them with the water of Stoic wisdom and watching them bloom amidst life's challenges. This journey of self-discovery and inner empowerment takes time, patience, and diligent practice. Just as an athlete trains hard to improve their skills, we too must consistently dedicate ourselves to applying these principles in our lives. As we face difficulties, it is as if we are carving our own statue of resilience, shaping it with each challenge overcome and each lesson learned. We can find inspiration in the words of Marcus Aurelius, that wise emperor who left us a treasure trove of reflections on how to live a life of virtue and purpose. As we reflect on his meditations, we are following in the footsteps of a great master, absorbing his wisdom and applying it to our own journeys. And as we move forward on this journey, not only do we become more resilient and adaptable, but we also find deep inner peace. We find a higher purpose in every challenge we face and a sense of fulfillment in living according to our noblest principles. This is the true essence of the journey of Stoicism, not just surviving the ups and downs of life, but flourishing within them, like a true sage, finding peace and serenity regardless of the circumstances. I encourage you to think about these 10 life lessons and consider how to apply them to your own life. As you begin this journey of personal growth, remember that Marcus Aurelius's teachings are very valuable and can help us face challenges with wisdom, grace, and resilience. As he once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." By incorporating these lessons into your daily life, you can improve the quality of your thoughts and develop the resilience and inner strength needed to deal with an ever-changing world. I hope you find inspiration and growth in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, and that your journey toward resilience and inner strength is full of self-discovery, fulfillment, and lasting happiness. A practical way to develop this skill is to practice mindfulness every day. This means focusing on the present moment without judgment, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting attached or overreacting. By practicing mindfulness, we can increase our self-awareness and learn to recognize when we need to shift our perspectives. Another useful technique for controlling our perceptions is to challenge our thoughts through cognitive restructuring. This involves identifying negative or irrational thoughts and actively questioning them, replacing them with more balanced and rational alternatives. For example, if you think, "I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion," try changing your thought to something like, "Even though I didn't get the promotion this time, that doesn't determine my worth or my abilities. I can learn from this and grow professionally." Finally, Being around positive influences can help control our perceptions. Seek out friends, mentors, or role models who have the values and attitudes you want to cultivate in yourself. Having conversations and participating in uplifting activities can strengthen a more optimistic and constructive mindset. In short, controlling our perceptions is essential to building resilience and inner strength. By practicing self-awareness, mindfulness, cognitive restructuring, and seeking positive influences, we can train our minds to see the world in a more balanced and constructive way. This change in perspective enables us to overcome challenges and face life with more confidence and tranquility. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius wisely said, our perceptions are not absolute truths, and we have the power to shape them to our advantage. Learning to accept what we cannot change is very important to be stronger and more resilient from within. When we practice awareness, detachment, and meditation, we can see life in a more balanced and open way. This not only helps us deal with problems calmly and wisely, but also allows us to appreciate the good things in life. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept what fate gives you and love those close to you with all your heart." The third lesson is about focusing on the present. We should not be stuck in the past or worried about the future, but rather focus our mind on the here and now. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to live in the present moment, which brings us many benefits, such as reducing stress and anxiety, increasing our self-awareness, and feeling better mentally. When we focus on the present moment, we can truly enjoy what is happening around us and understand more about ourselves and the world around us. One way to learn to be present is to practice mindfulness meditation. This means observing our thoughts and feelings without judging them, just being present in the moment. To do this, you can find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and pay attention to your breathing. When thoughts arise, just acknowledge them and gently bring your attention back to your breathing. Practicing this for just 5 minutes every day can greatly help your overall well-being. Another way to focus on the present is to do mindful activities throughout the day. This includes simple things like eating mindfully, savoring each bite of food, or walking mindfully, noticing your surroundings as you move. Integrating mindfulness into everyday activities can help you appreciate the present moment more and better, understand your own thoughts and feelings. Imagine your diary as a trusted friend, ready to listen to your deepest reflections and most intimate confessions. Set aside a quiet moment each night to sit with him, perhaps by the soft light of a candle or the comforting sound of the rain outside. As you write, let your words flow freely without judgment or restriction. Describe your highs and lows of the day, your joys and worries, your hopes and fears. Let each word be a small piece of the puzzle of your life, contributing to a clearer picture of who you are and who you want to become. As you flip through the pages of your journal over time, you'll see patterns emerging, like tides that come and go. You may notice that certain situations or people trigger specific emotions, or that certain persistent thoughts follow you day after day. These discoveries are like beacons, illuminating the path toward greater self-awareness and self-development. And so, day after day, you become a more discerning observer of your own life, learning from each experience and growing with each challenge. Your diary becomes not just a record of your daily adventures, but a compendium of your personal achievements, a testimony to your constant growth and evolution. And by making this practice of reflection and self-evaluation an essential part of your daily routine, you empower yourself to live with more awareness, purpose, and authenticity. Fourth lesson, develop humility and empathy. Before pointing out someone's fault, ask yourself, what fault of mine is similar to that of the person I'm about to criticize? Being humble and empathetic is very important to become stronger from within. These qualities help us build better relationships, be kinder, and understand ourselves better. Marcus Aurelius's quote reminds us that before judging others, we should think about our own mistakes and try to understand how others feel. Being humble means recognizing that we all make mistakes and that we can learn from others no matter who they are. When we are humble, we are more willing to listen to what others have to say and grow as a person. To practice humility, try to listen more than you talk. Pay attention to other people's ideas and be open to admitting when you're wrong. Admitting your mistakes can help you become a better, more resilient person. Empathy means trying to understand another person's feelings and thoughts. It helps us deal with difficult situations and build stronger relationships. To develop empathy, actively listen to people when they talk, try to understand what they are going through, and show genuine interest in their feelings. Additionally, participating in volunteer activities can help you develop empathy as you help those in need. This can increase your understanding of others' experiences and promote a greater sense of compassion. Being humble and empathetic is very important to become a stronger person from within. By listening to others, reflecting on our own actions, and practicing compassion, we can become more humble and empathetic. Fifth lesson, give thanks. When you wake up in the morning, think about how special it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of being grateful in our lives. By valuing good things and appreciating life, we can become happier, healthier, and stronger in the face of problems. There are many advantages to being grateful. Studies have shown that people who regularly express gratitude feel happier, have healthier minds, better relationships, and even better physical health. Grateful people tend to be more positive, less stressed and anxious, and are more prepared to face difficult times. To be more grateful in your everyday life, you can start a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for, big or small. This can help you shift your focus from the bad things to the good, recognizing and appreciating the good things that are typically forgotten. Another way to practice gratitude is to thank the people around you. Take time to thank friends, family, and colleagues for their support, kindness, and understanding. By recognizing what they do for you, you strengthen your relationships as well as your own gratitude. Additionally, reflect on your achievements and challenges overcome. Recognizing your personal growth and lessons learned can help you appreciate the journey you've taken so far, developing deeper gratitude for the experiences that shaped you. Imagine mindfulness as a lighthouse, gently guiding you through the turbulent waters of everyday life. As you surrender to the present moment, the sounds around you become clearer, colors more vibrant, and scents more fragrant. You find yourself immersed in a world of wonder, where even the smallest joys shine like stars in the night sky. In this state of full awareness, even the simplest moments become occasions for gratitude. You can feel the softness of the grass beneath your bare feet as you walk through the park, or savor every bite of a lovingly prepared, home-cooked meal. Every little detail of everyday life becomes an opportunity to recognize and appreciate the blessings that surround you. And by practicing gratitude, you are planting seeds of happiness that will blossom over time. Keeping a gratitude journal, where you record the things you're grateful for every day, is like watering those seeds, nourishing them with love and appreciation. By doing this, you are creating a sanctuary of positivity in your heart, a haven where gratitude flourishes and thrives. Plus, by expressing your gratitude to others, you not only brighten their day with a ray of sunshine, but you also strengthen the bonds that bind you together. A simple thank you can do wonders for strengthening relationships and building a supportive community around you. So, the next time you find yourself immersed in the hustle and bustle of life, take a moment to breathe deeply and tune into the present. Allow yourself to be bathed in the light of gratitude and let it guide your path to a fuller, more meaningful life. Sixth lesson, see adversity as a chance to grow. What stops us drives us. What's in the way becomes the way. With these words from Marcus Aurelius, we learn that problems are not walls, but doors to our personal growth. By changing our view of challenges, we can gain more strength and resilience, which helps us overcome even the most difficult times. Facing challenges can help us in many ways. They allow us to learn new skills, gain experience, and discover more about ourselves. Furthermore, overcoming adversity gives us confidence, showing that we can deal with difficult situations and emerge from them stronger. To view challenges as opportunities for growth, it is important to have a growth mindset. This means believing that we can improve our skills and intelligence with effort and dedication. When we face a problem, we should ask ourselves what skills we can develop from this experience and how it can make us better. Another strategy is to transform negative thoughts into positive ones. When we are faced with a difficulty, we can identify negative thoughts and replace them with more positive and motivating thoughts. For example, if we think, "I'll never be able to handle this," we can change it to, "This is a difficult situation, but I can learn and grow from it." We can also be inspired by people who have overcome similar challenges. Reading about their stories reminds us of the potential for growth that exists in every difficulty. When the storm of life breaks upon us, it is natural to seek shelter in the company of those who love and understand us. The journey of adversity can feel lonely at times, but it is in the arms of friends, family, and even professionals that we find the strength to move forward. It's as if each word of encouragement is a ray of sunshine piercing the dark clouds, illuminating the path ahead of us. By sharing our struggles with others, we not only lighten the weight we carry, but we also open the doors to new perspectives and insights. Friends offer us the comfort of their presence, the wise words of their advice, and the clarity of their external views. With their voices by our side, we are reminded that we are not alone on this journey and that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Accepting adversity as an opportunity for growth is like unveiling a gift wrapped in crumpled paper. As much as it may initially seem like a disappointment, inside lies a shining jewel of learning and self-discovery. It is the growth mindset that allows us to transform obstacles into stepping stones to success, tears into water that nourishes the fertile soil of our tomorrow. Reframing negative thoughts is like changing the angle of a blurry photograph. As we adjust our perspective, the contours of challenges become sharper and more manageable. We find inspiration in the stories of others who have faced similar challenges and emerged stronger on the other side. Each obstacle becomes a blank page, waiting to be filled with the ink of our resilience and determination. Lesson number 7. Use reason as a guide. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of thinking logically to be happier and deal better with problems. By using reason, we can make smarter decisions, control our emotions, and face challenges with more courage. Thinking logically helps us overcome difficulties because it allows us to evaluate a situation impartially, find possible solutions, and think about the pros and cons of each option. By facing problems with a logical mind, we can avoid being controlled by emotions like fear or anger, which can cloud our reasoning. One way to develop logical thinking is to practice critical thinking. This means questioning what we think, evaluating the evidence, and considering different points of view. When we face a problem, we can stop and ask ourselves if we are assuming something, if we have enough evidence to support our ideas, and if there are other ways to resolve the situation that we are not considering. Another way to improve rational thinking is to reflect on our thoughts, beliefs, and actions regularly. This helps us better understand our own thoughts and behaviors and allows us to recognize when we are being influenced by emotions or wrong ideas, helping us to start thinking more logically again. Furthermore, it is important to learn to control our emotions, as strong emotions can get in the way of rational thinking. Practicing meditation and deep breathing techniques can help us better deal with our emotions, giving us mental space to think clearly and logically. Lastly, we must look for opportunities to learn and develop our problem-solving skills. Participating in activities that challenge our brain, such as solving puzzles, playing strategy games, or debating, can help us improve our logical reasoning skills and prepare us to face challenges with more confidence and clarity. Being guided by reason is fundamental to overcoming problems and becoming stronger. By practicing critical thinking, reflecting on our actions, managing our emotions, and developing problem-solving skills, we can develop a more logical mindset that allows us to face life's challenges successfully. 8th lesson, nurture inner calm. Marcus Aurelius highlights how our thoughts affect our feelings and inner peace. Having peace within yourself is important to be emotionally strong and face problems calmly. Having internal calm is essential for several reasons. First, it helps us deal better with stress and anxiety. When we are at peace with ourselves, we can face life's challenges more easily, which protects us from burnout and keeps us mentally healthy. Second, inner peace helps us think clearly and make better decisions. When our emotions don't dominate us, we can solve problems more effectively. Cultivating inner calm is like watering a delicate plant. It requires care, attention, and love. One of the most effective ways to nurture this calm is by doing things that bring us joy and allow us to relax. This can be as simple as taking a walk outside and feeling the sun warming your face, or as comforting as spending time with those who love us, sharing laughter and heartwarming stories. Taking care of yourself is like recharging your body and soul. When we take time to do what makes us feel good, we're giving ourselves a well-deserved break from the pressures and responsibilities of everyday life. Whether it's reading a book, listening to music, painting, or simply relaxing in a hot bath, these moments of self-care are like little oases of serenity amidst the whirlwind of life. Furthermore, learning to deal with stress and negative emotions in a healthy way is essential to maintaining emotional balance. Practicing deep breathing or activities like yoga can be like anchors that keep us steady during emotional storms. They help us find a space of calm in the chaos, restoring our internal balance and allowing us to face challenges with more clarity and determination. And like a note of gratitude in a melody of life, the regular practice of gratitude reminds us of the many blessings that surround our path. By recognizing and appreciating the good things in our lives, we cultivate a more positive outlook and a sense of inner peace that permeates all areas of our lives. It's as if we are adjusting our internal tuning to a frequency of harmony and contentment, even in the most challenging circumstances. Lesson 9. Let go. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to set aside external events and situations and focus on our spiritual growth and inner values. This helps us to be more emotionally strong and resilient. Detachment brings many benefits. It helps us maintain calm and emotional stability even in the face of difficulties. It also prevents us from becoming too attached to other people's results, possessions, or opinions, which can make us anxious and stressed. To practice detachment in everyday life, start by paying more attention to your thoughts and reactions to external things. Observe your emotions and thoughts without getting attached to them. This can help you realize when you're getting too caught up in external things and shift your focus to what's internal. Think of life as a constant dance, where the only right step is to go with the flow. Like a song that echoes in the wind, life is a symphony of changes and transformations. Instead of seeking happiness in things that fade with time, like the tides that come and go, discover inner contentment. This means looking within, cultivating your inner garden of values, personal growth, and spirituality. Knowing your core values is like having a reliable compass amid the rough seas of life. They are the stars that guide your path when the clouds of uncertainty darken the sky. Take a moment to reflect on what really matters to you and use these values as a foundation for your choices and actions. They are like anchors that hold you steady in times of storm. Additionally, engaging in spiritual practices such as meditation or prayer is like opening a window to the inner universe. It is in these moments of silence and contemplation that we reconnect with ourselves and with something greater than ourselves. It is as if we are diving into the deep waters of the soul, discovering treasures of peace and serenity that have always been there, waiting to be found. Practicing detachment from the external is like releasing the ties that bind us to the material world. It's recognizing that external things come and go, but the true treasure lies within ourselves. In doing so, we become more emotionally resilient, more able to face the waves of life with calm and poise, knowing that in the end, it is our inner journey that truly matters. Lesson 10. Moving forward. Marcus Aurelius highlights the importance of moving forward even in the face of difficulties. By focusing on what we already have and maintaining a growth mindset, we can continue to make progress. Moving forward is crucial to overcoming challenges, allowing us to learn from obstacles and grow. Set clear, achievable goals that align with your values. Break them down into smaller steps and celebrate each progress. Imagine life as a journey down a winding road, where each turn brings with it its own surprises and challenges. In the midst of these challenges, it is important to remember that setbacks are just part of the journey. Just like a traveler who encounters obstacles along the way, it is natural to encounter difficult moments along life's journey. Practicing compassion with yourself at these times is like offering a comforting hug to your own heart, reminding yourself that it's okay to not always be at the top of the mountain. Plus, surrounding yourself with people who share your goals and values is like traveling with fellow travelers. Together, you can support each other through difficult times and celebrate victories along the way. As a united team, you can face any challenge that appears on the horizon. Don't forget to regularly reflect on your achievements, no matter how small. Every step taken towards your goals deserves recognition and celebration. It's like marking each part of the road traveled, remembering how far you've come. Moving forward is essential to overcome the challenges that arise along the way. Setting clear goals is like drawing a map to your destination, keeping you focused and determined on the journey. With support from friends, practicing compassion with yourself, and reflecting on progress, you can keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. These are Marcus Aurelius's valuable lessons, which show us how to develop resilience and inner strength on our own journey along the road of life. These lessons have given us valuable knowledge about controlling our perceptions, accepting what we cannot change, focusing on the present moment, developing humility and empathy, practicing gratitude, seeing adversity as an opportunity for growth, following reason, cultivating inner peace, practicing non-attachment and maintaining forward momentum. By incorporating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, we can grow as individuals, overcome challenges, and live more fulfilling, goal-oriented lives. It's important to remember that building resilience and inner strength is an ongoing journey, and applying these lessons takes time, practice, and commitment. As you face challenges and setbacks, draw on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and strive to follow the principles he so skillfully shared in his meditations. By doing so, you will not only become stronger and more creative in the face of adversity, but you will also find a greater sense of inner peace, purpose, and fulfillment.